All right, I'm back. You don't have split audio? You good? All right, you let me know when you're ready, and I'll start. I'll start it. Start reading ahead and stuff.
All right, hi guys, welcome to the Q&A. Yeah, guys, I'm such a noob. I don't have split audio, so yeah, Versa's here. Say hi, Versa.
What's up, guys?
Chat, tell me, is Versa okay? I'm probably gonna put him louder, and then we're probably good to go. And I'll turn the music down. Versa's too loud.
I'm Italian.
You're not Italian. I'm not role playing right now.
I actually am Italian.
Bring him down? That's crazy. It's like so quiet for me. Alright, test real quick. Say something.
Hello, hello. Testing.
Alright, that should be fine. Mute him? That's crazy.
Okay, that's actually wild.
Yeah, that's toxic. I mean, that's I mean, that's what we got, I guess. All right. Well, anyway, guys, if you guys don't know, we're being hosted today by Versa, and if you guys have any questions, make sure to join Casa de Cenzo and get your questions in there, because we'll try to answer them today. And whatever you wanted to ask, get that in today. Any questions you've ever wanted to get in, we'll try to answer them. Remember, Eve has had 3 years in the city, so it's been quite a wild ride for her. So yeah, we can start off whenever, Versa.
All right, getting right into the thick of it. All right, so do you ever see a scenario where Luch and Eve become each other's number one?
Oh damn, just like that, just immediately like that. God.
Yep.
I mean, recently, with Lottie's conversation the other day, Lottie had a thing where she kind of called him out, where in order for for the relationship to work, Eve was kind of already Luciano's number one. But I don't know if Lang would have had to essentially cut Eve out completely for Luciano to be Eve's number one, honestly. That's how I see it. Lottie made a really good point, but I think with that conversation yesterday, I can definitely tell that it won't be the case anytime soon either. I think there's a lot on his mind and Eve's mind as well, that it's very clear that the family will probably always be a priority over each other in a sense, and that's why I think that's why she also won't probably make him number one, because then the dynamic won't ever work either.
Right. Okay. I mean, let's make it clear. Carlo is Luch's number one before Eve, and then comes Eve. But
yeah, sure.
All right, next one. Okay, this one says Fredo, Tiny, and Joe are hanging from a cliff. Dot dot dot. So I'm guessing they're asking who you saving.
Jesus Christ, can I only say one?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, so let's go like through all of them. Fredo, messed up by ruining Juno and Eve's relationship. So I don't know if we praise him for that or we throw him off the cliff for that. Do we save Tiny's meth empire and save him, or do we save Joe because Joe is just a sweetheart?
Yeah, Joe's just Joe.
Yeah, Joe is just Joe. I feel like we'd save Joe, you know? But would we save Joe and then Joe would kill us because we didn't save the others? Like that's also like a question we have to ask. Yeah. I feel like we'd save Joe. Yeah.
It's a good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Lauren asks, out of all of Eve's businesses or business empire and arcs, which one has been your favorite to work on?
I feel like I've always I feel like I'd always choose just Rooster's Reef, just like the weed, just because that's been the starting point. I don't know if I would I don't think I would choose anything else just because of the history there. And just because of the market days. It's just so sentimental to everything else. Hold on, we have a question from chat. GGQF, who plays Stag, asked, "Why are you noob?" So really good question, GG, and I don't think I know the answer to that. Like, how would you know if you're noob? I don't know. I don't know if I would know if I'm noob.
It's a pretty noob answer.
Yeah, maybe I am noob just because of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would
I
definitely
do miss the
say,
market days, though. I
yeah,
gotta say, I do miss
yes.
the market. Those were good times.
Every time I try to explain the market days to people, it's just like for example, now if you don't know what to do during the market days, you could just always go to Dean World. You can just always go to Polito,
Right.
and you would know, you would just know that there's people there, there's people to hang out with, and you would just know that there's somebody there. So,
Oh yeah, it was always filled with so many people.
yeah, I
Honestly,
love
that was my
that.
first ever job in this, like on NoPixel when I first came, like a couple years ago. My first job was at like the bean machine for Natalia's business, but I loved it there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I met Eve so long ago. That's the funny thing I always think about. I'm like, I met your character like so long ago because my like
Did we
friend
actually
worked with
meet?
the. Yes, because my friend took me up to like up to the retreat or whatever, like, cause don't you like pack the weed up there, or you used to, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
grow up there.
yeah. We used to grow up there.
Yeah, so like I've been up there and I definitely have met Eve and like as Carlo before, like a long time ago. Like I remember he used to tell me about Eve and I was like, I didn't really know you that well, but
I always wonder, like back then, like how many people did I meet and what I like know now. I just didn't realize. Like
right,
for example, this example, it's like, you know, would things have been different if I like knew Carlo back then?
right. That's what, yeah, exactly.
Like this is picture on screen. There's Harry, Barry next to me, and Aaron, like at Polito Market.
Yeah,
Such
yeah,
such
that market was
good
so good.
good memories.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it brought a lot of traffic up to Polito too, which was nice.
It was really good. I had the first like house in Polito that was actually owned, and I always left my house open so people could change in my house. Um, because nobody had like you'd either have to go to the clothing store, or you'd like
Right.
you couldn't change anywhere else because storefronts weren't a thing either. So people always asked me to
Yeah.
like leave my house unlocked, and houses locked back then as well. They didn't stay open, so people always asked me to just like leave my house unlocked.
Yeah.
I miss those
The good
days.
old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat, if you have any questions, just like if you're throwing them in right now, I'm not going to answer them. Either put them in the chat, or just leave them till the end.
All right, the next one. Keiki said or asked, "Have you ever thought about what Eve's trajectory may have been like if she didn't leave the guild?"
I feel like she still would have been really sad and lost. Like I said, when she left the guild, she felt like a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. Because look at what that decision like led her to. It led her to, you know, everybody in Little Italy. It led her to inheriting the whole empire, and she lost a family. But like if she didn't leave the guild, I feel like I would have been just very, very lonely in general. I don't know if that would have been. I don't think it was ever a possibility that she stayed in the guild. It would have been just more sadness and more depression and and everybody knows watching Eve during that time, it was very, very depressive, especially after Bass's death. It just wasn't a good time around here. Eve was just it was just sad girl all the time. And yeah, exactly. The guild just isn't around at the moment. Only people who constantly come around is Alex. And so yeah, I just don't know if that ever would have been a good possibility.
How long, like, were you part of the guild?
Um, over a year, probably like a year and a
Oh,
half.
okay.
But like before that, like we've always been friends with the guild. Like my first day of interviewing for like the job at the ranch, Harry was there, Barry was there, Lando was there. Like I knew like a majority of the guild before joining the guild as well.
Right. Okay, okay. All right, next one. Jub asks, "How would Eve react to Lucia's agreement with Lang about their firstborn? Unless I've missed something and she already knows."
She doesn't know at all. She doesn't know about the agreement. I know OC, but yeah, I don't know that Lang asked for their firstborn.
Okay, I didn't know that either.
You didn't know that either.
No.
Yeah, Lang. So if you don't know, Lang asked for Denzel and Andy's firstborn as well. Um,
Okay.
but I don't think that ever happened. Because they broke up and everything. But I also everybody's very confused. Like, is it adopted children? Is it like actual
Right,
like
because
children? Because in the city it's a weird thing. But
right.
um,
So you're
I
handing Lottie over, is what I'm hearing.
I don't know. But see, that's the thing is if Lush didn't tell Eve and Lottie is the victim, then that's really, really irresponsible of Luciano for actually letting us adopt Lottie, because that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, right.
That's actually so fucked up.
I would love to see Lang with Lottie.
She's just like, because Lottie does this thing where every time I talk about Lang, she thinks like I'm talking about my mother's side. So she's just like, this on your father's side or your mother's side? Because she associates Lang as like my mother's side. So she's just gonna call him grandma one day and it's gonna be so funny.
Oh God.
But yeah, I think I would probably call him irresponsible for letting us adopt Lottie in the first place if it puts her in danger at all.
Right. So wait, is she officially adopted?
Uh, yeah, I'd say so.
The Arya replacement?
Yeah, but yeah, everybody makes jokes about her joining Gulag Gang next.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah,
God, no,
yeah,
please.
yeah.
All right, the next one. Soft Cookie asks, what are you looking forward to with a clean slate for the 4.0 update?
Um, I definitely say I'm looking forward to um just letting go of the stigma of, what Eva's built, but I'm kind of scared that people aren't gonna forget that. Just like Cerberus
Right.
bad, Eve bad. Um, People
Right.
assuming all the bad things about you without talking to you. Like, God, there's like I'm pretty sure one day I was sick, and God, my chat was like telling me that almost everybody, almost everybody in the fucking server was talking about Eve at one point, and I wasn't even online. I wasn't even around, and I'm just like, and it's
Rent
like,
free.
yeah,
What?
yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I just said rent
Oh
free.
yeah, rent free. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's just like I hope that that gets like I just hope that gets dropped. And I'm scared, even though if I bring Eve over to 4.0, I'm scared that that just isn't gonna go away
Right.
because I just don't have faith in people for
Yeah.
letting go of bad things. So I'm gonna try to make a different construction character, like a separate construction character, for that
Okay.
reason as well, just so that people, so I can have a bias basically, because I can't,
Right.
as Eve, I can't have bias against people. So if people have wronged Eve and people ask me for the next thing, can I have a storefront, like, I wish that I could say no to them because I hate them, but I
Right.
can't. So I wish that in 4.0, like, I can separate that, and then I can actually, potentially just, I don't know, show them that I can be bad as they say I am. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've thought about it too, like with making a character in 4.0, like if I'll bring over Carlo or not. I don't know. I still haven't determined like what I'm gonna do.
Mm,
But yeah, that's a good point. Like I feel like it is hard when, it's supposed to be like a reset, but it's like you're bound to run into some complications probably.
yeah.
But all right. Tyflo Sean said, what has been Eve's greatest challenge so far as a character and yours as a role player in 3.0?
Um. mm, mm, mm. Greatest challenge I would say is just mhm. I think the worst time for me in the city was after Eve's day off, and um as a role player it was also just like during that time, and also um dealing with the toxicity of dealing with an arc that is also just like not something that people just don't agree with, um because that comes with repercussions when your character isn't doing something that people like. It comes with toxicity from communities. It comes with, it's just like you're making really good content. You're making content that isn't war content. You're making content that's not, that people aren't used to. So like that day I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna do something that makes a lot of sense for my character to do. And I asked myself, is my character okay? And I said, no, my character's not okay. And I made a choice, and I changed the trajectory of everybody's stories. And I decided to change it. And yeah.
Right. Very nice. All right. The next one, wait, hold on, I scrolled back down. Would Eve ever join the DC family if offered?
Probably no. Um, I wouldn't want to step on Luciano's toes. I wouldn't want to. I have my own thing going on. He has his own thing going on. And I mean, even if Eve marries into the family, um, that would that would be as close enough as it should be, right? I
Right.
don't think that there should be any. I don't think that would change anything.
Right. Hancho asked, what were your initial thoughts about DC and the Italians? I'm curious of this.
um,
Honesty.
Honesty. In the beginning, I was like, I think because I wasn't interacting with anybody. I was like, you know, I wasn't understanding as well what was going on because Lang wasn't communicating with me about like what he was letting all the Italians do, and I was very hesitant towards what was going on. I remember I pressed Luciano one day at the pool because he did lie to me about like what he was doing there because I think he knew he was essentially moving into Little Italy, and he lied to Eve about it because Lang's business is Eve's business, and I didn't like that because I like when people are honest with Eve as well, and
Right.
I called them spoiled. Did I, Jura? That's crazy. But yeah, Eve just values honesty, but obviously at that rate, I think Luciano knew if like whatever Lang tells him, it's just him and Lang's business and nobody else's. So after a while, I kind of understood that.
All right. Yeah. We are spoiled. But all right, next one. Ramsey said, oh, would you ever try out Red Dead like RP or Wild RP or just Red Dead, I guess in general?
I would. I've wanted to, but I felt that my standard of roleplay, I feel like I wasn't ready. Essentially, I feel like it would challenge me because every time that I have a roleplay scenario, I really think, wow, I'm uh, I'm learning so much right now. I hope that I can like learn a bit more from the situation. And you guys coming over as well. I'm like, you guys kill it with the slash me's and stuff because that's like your bread and butter over there as well. And I feel like sometimes I'm not ready, and sometimes like I feel like I can learn a lot as well if I did try it out eventually. So yeah, I would definitely try it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's a change of pace. I personally find it a little bit easier almost to be like role playing Red Dead because like since the time period's different, there's like less of an incentive to like self insert at times. You know what I mean? If that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense,
Mm-hmm.
because you're like actually having to like play somebody in that certain time period. So I don't know, but I think you'd like it. I think you'd be good at it. You're a great role player, so I think it'd be cool to see you try it. All right. Next one. Kev P said, if Nick Simone and Ray Romanoff were hanging off a cliff, who would you push off first?
Oh, I get to push off both of them. That's crazy. I would push off Nick first, and then I'd push off Ray. Yeah.
I figured that's what you'd say.
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely push off Nick first.
All right. Rad asked, if Eve were in a gang, which gang would she join? Not
Mm,
including the Italians.
I would probably I would always say the HOA, but I don't see them as a gang
Yeah.
because they're very, very fun. Trying to think of who I get along with as well.
I could see
Um,
even the Vagos. You
the
know what I mean?
Vagos. I used to be really close with the Vagos when Speedy was the leader of the Vagos.
Yeah.
Um, I would say Mayhem as well because Eve is close with the Mayhem, but again, I don't see them as a
Okay.
gang.
Right.
But if I were to do like something crazy, I don't know, I would say like just for the experience, I would say like a gang who gets into like shootouts like a lot, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, I just want to say Gula gang just for the experience, honestly.
Jura said Russ to reunite with her daughter. That would be a timeline.
Yeah, I would, yeah, to burn it down from the inside, sure. It'd finish the job.
All right. Riven asked, since becoming the owner and at this point leading on her own, has Eve's view of business slash Cerberus changed?
Um, because though since the like announcement though, the 4.0 was like really close, I've just seen people be demotivated, right? Um,
Right.
I mean, nothing has changed in terms of like doing business. I can definitely see that people are much less interested in talking to you if they can't talk to Lang. That's always been a thing. Like, oh, they can't talk to Lang. Okay, they don't want to talk to you, kind of a deal. But now that you hold all the power, it's been much different as well. Um, but like I said, I feel like people are much more demotivated since there aren't new shiny projects to work on. So it's just like pulling teeth, I feel like at this point, to just act like there's actually still business to run and things like that. I just try to
Right.
keep like people's motivation up and passion up, but it's very, very hard when there's just the inevitable, you know, big wave is gonna hit us
Reset.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that same way. I feel like it's really hard right now with things, even to do like even an arc or something, because like one, just not many people are around anymore. Like some people that used to be around a lot, and two, just like everyone's kind of just. I feel like everyone's kind of in autopilot until 4.0 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Milk asked, "Hey Eagle, during the Lang retiring arc, Eve didn't know if she and Lang had a relationship outside of business. My question is, what type of relationship does Eve want with Lang outside of business? An adopted father, a father figure, a mentor, or just a friend?"
Mm. I mean, Eve still feels that way. She still feels like without business, she doesn't really feel like there's a relationship because Lang needed her during business because he always had questions for her, always relied on her to get business done. But outside of business, it doesn't really feel like there is anything that is needed anymore. He has everything he needs, and in some ways she might need him, but it doesn't feel like he needs her anymore, right? Um, so it's really hard. Like, I mean, I feel like viewers have pushed the father figure way too much for it actually to happen at this point. So I don't think that would ever happen as much as everybody wants it to happen inevitably. But Eve does see him as a not maybe not a father, but a father figure because she had a dad. He died, fast died. Maybe a father figure in some sort because if you look closely, she calls everybody around Lang uncle. She calls Uncle Sab, Uncle Harry, Uncle Denzel, Uncle Speedy, everybody around him, uncle except him. So yeah, he's definitely a father figure in some sort, and that's just the reality of it. Is just he's probably a father figure, but without business, it's just I don't know, just died kinda. I feel like.
Right. Okay. During or OMG Becky S, during the retirement conflict, it is apparent that Lang wanted Eve to call him out on his BS and threatened to ruin his life, much like she did with Lottie's kidnappers. If it had been Dean or Leslie instead of Lang, would Eve have been able to tell them off, or what would she have said?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it during that time is that she would have been able to call um call all of them out except Lang. Lang is the only person she cannot stand up to unless her like she is forced to play that hand. She actually told him that as well, I'm pretty sure, in a text message that she can call out anybody else. And again, it wasn't to she wasn't protecting the company from an outsider. She was, it was just Lang. He wasn't necessarily trying to hurt the company either. So it wasn't like it was perceived as an act of threat either. So it was kind of it was uh it was kind of difficult to stand up to him at that point when all she wanted to do was run the empire with him, and now she has to do it alone. And yeah, maybe this wouldn't have happened if somebody had just told him that he's being dumb. Um, but the people who were supposed to do it just left, and Eve can't do everything on her own at the end of the day.
Right. All right, Sliz got a couple questions, so I'll just do one at a time. The first one is Eve went through a lot of trials and tribulations this year, from all the loyalty tests being made to choose between laying in the Simones, laying in the Guild, and then losing her father Bass. How does it make you feel knowing she lost so many family and friends for laying, only for him to leave her in the end potentially?
That is something that I feel like if Eve called him out on that, I don't know what he would say. I feel
Yeah,
like
that's interesting.
if Eve called him out on that, he would just be like, I feel like he would slap back and be like, yeah, well, maybe you should have, chose the guild. Maybe you should have gone to the island, something like that. But it does ring true, right? She lost so much. She lost the guild, and at the end of the day, he still chooses Jaeger every other day. She gave up her whole family. And I wouldn't say she gave it up for Lang. She had other reasons as well, but at the end of the day, it was like a majority of the reason was for him too. And and at the end of the day, it does feel really bad that he kind of abandoned her as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was lonely.
yeah. It's lonely at the top.
It is. It is lonely at the top. All right. And the next one from Sliz is after the loss of the guild and death of Bass, Eve seemed to be in a dark pit with a heroin problem. I believe meeting Luciano prevented Eve from self-destructing. Considering all the events that was happening, where do you think Eve would be now if she didn't meet Luciano and the Italians?
Hmm. I feel like Eve would have focused a lot more on business in terms of she would have put her head down and focused on Aegis as well. Um, and she probably would have, I feel like she would have thrown herself into um, a lot of business centered things.
Okay.
I I think at one point when Eve was like very depressed, like it was um it was at a time, it was like right after Bass's death. Um she was like super depressed inside Roosters. And I remember Luciano asking her like what is like one thing that she can't have. And he like immediately called it out that like Eve like can't have love because at that point like Eve was still experiencing PTSD from like the Simone arc as well. And it was bad. She was just like she just felt like she couldn't have anything anymore. She lost her dad. She was constantly put in the middle of issues between a family, and she was having PTSD from loving somebody and the world blowing up on it. So she just felt like she couldn't be happy. So if she just never met Luciano and the Italians, I don't know where she would be. She'd probably just still be depressed somewhere, still doing heroin, honestly.
God. All right, the next one from Sliz again. In the event that Lang was to ever perma, would Eve make Luciano her number one? Would having a number one even matter anymore? Or would Eve consider reconciling with Jaeger to be her number one?
Jaeger was never Jaeger was never like on her speed dial list, right? Not that that really matters. Like I feel like people like overthink
They
the
do, they
speed dial
do,
list.
they do, they do.
It's
You like
like
change a contact and everyone freaks out
yeah,
in chat.
it's like the speed dial list to me is just like it's just people I know I can call who would like really who would actually I feel like the speed dial list to me is people who I can call who I know will pick up and who I can call and be like, yo, I have a body to bury. Will you help me bury that body? Kinda.
Right,
And
right.
I feel like that is what it's to me. And but I know like the viewers eat up the speed dial list is really funny.
Oh, they do. They do. It's like I think it's like the biggest T drop ever when you like change somebody, shift someone up or down.
But Jaeger was never on her speed dial list. God, he's saved on my phone as pimp. Like Jesus Christ. And but Jaeger was still very, very important to Eve. But I don't think that he would ever be the most important thing to her in the world. Um, and yeah, I mean, if Lang was Superma, then it would change in this question. Yeah, probably. But I don't think it would matter that much. And Eve would probably change a lot if Lang were to die as well.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last one by Sliz is there a clear separation between the character Eve and yourself? When Eve went through all the above, um, did that emotionally affect you as a person, or do you draw a clear line of what happens in RP?
Um, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a self-insert god. I have a degree in zoology and physiology, you know. I have a teaching degree as well. I know nothing about marijuana. I've never smoked weed. I I don't have a business degree. I don't know anything about business. But Eve herself, um, I don't know. I'd say there's a few things that would probably be the same. Um, but again, I think that also depends. I think a lot of things can bleed through into RP. And does it affect me? I think when I started RP, yes. But as when you log off, you kind of just shut down. You know, you just be like, what happens out in RP is whatever. And then when I log off, I'm just like, I'll deal with it the next time I log in again. The only things I do OC is just like construction work and stuff like that. I don't let anything else bother me. And the only thing that really like had me stop streaming was the Mandem stuff. That was really, really hard. Like that was like overinvested chatters and that was just toxic stuff that was like really, really hard. That was hard to disassociate with because again, that's something that happens in RP but then follows you OOC. So you some things you can't escape as well, especially if stuff follows you to every social media platform. And that had
Yeah.
me like not stream for a while. And then after the Eve Stay Off stuff, I had to also just take that was mentally draining. The Eve Stay Off stuff was very, very mentally draining. I had to take like a break from that as well. So sometimes if you feel like you're too invested, just too into something, just just take a break. Take a mental break, play another game and just chill out. Just
Yeah.
chill out.
I agree. I agree. I think at least when I first started role playing, I feel like I was in a similar spot too. Like you kind of get overly invested into it, and then as you role play longer, you kind of understand that it's like you kind of learn to just like turn it off, like you said.
Mhm.
But all right, next one. The True Watch said, "Where does Eve currently see herself with the Italians as a whole?"
Um, yeah, I'm secretly planning to infiltrate and then destroy them from the inside out. Yeah, that's like my whole plan.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like my masterful plan. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then kill Luciano right in front of everyone in
Yeah.
middle of Little Italy.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna
Middle of
say I'm the real Italian. Yeah. I've always been. Mhm. No, I'm yeah, I mean just essentially when, you know, potentially maybe when Luciano and Eve one day get married, just be accepted as part of the family. I think Eve has a good relationship with like she tries, very hard to get to know everybody on an individual basis and she tries to create opportunities for everybody. and she just wants to have a good time with everybody. I don't want to I don't want to sit here and say that I want to have an influence on the way they do business. I just want to create opportunities like Eve always has been, and that's just it.
All right. Um, Sicario asks if Eve never went for the job interview at the ranch, where do you think Eve's life path would have led instead? Do you think somewhere down the line she'd eventually work for Cerberus or would have taken a different route and ended up somewhere entirely different, resulting in her potentially never working with the people she has and forming the relationship she has?
So interesting story. Why there was a period while I was waiting, I had gone for the interview at the ranch already. However, Eve always had a dream of, doing the cabins up north. It wasn't necessarily those cabins, but she wanted to do like hiking up in the mountains, and she just wanted to do like hiking tours and like sleeping up in the mountains. And while she was like waiting to hear back from like Dewey and Harry for her interview, she actually went for an interview with the Rangers to she went with I think she interviewed with Pinzone, and she was interviewing for the Scouts program. But that day, like the server was like going through something, and I think I had popped like 5 to 6 times trying to
Hmm.
get to Pinzone. And I think if that had happened and that interview would have like been done, I think that Eve probably would have become a ranger.
Oh God,
Yeah,
cop.
yeah. I think Eve probably would have become a ranger.
That would be interesting. I would
Yeah.
like to see a cop character.
I do have a cop character. She's just a
Really?
forever cadet. Yeah, Dawn Winters. She's just a little baby cadet. Just forever cadet. Yeah.
All right. Sir Cryus asked, are there any characters that you can think of that you wish you got to interact or RP more with in 3.0?
Mm, I wish that I would interact with more like Southside characters, or people in just like I feel like I'm very Vinewood, north side of the map situated. I wish that there was just like more people that, like for example, Rami, Mr. K, and just like more Southside characters. I wish there was like people that I wish that what my RP led me to more of those characters. And as well, I think there's people like in other storms as well who you probably never see as well. I think when I was primarily in the beginning of my RP journey, I woke up majority of the time during EU hours because that was the only time I could get in due to queue and stuff. And I wish that like I met so many people during that time. I didn't know NA people, and then that switched, and then that's like a time where um I just like you know grew far away from those people, and I know a lot of people now who I met back then, and I have no idea where their RP stories went and things like that. So it's I wish there was more people that um I met, but it is what it is, right? Like maybe my story wouldn't have been the same if I like fell into a different crowd and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I never really like think about like there's some people that you might like never even see. Although with the hours I was pulling, I was around for like 24 hours a day. So it was,
Yeah, I did like
uh,
30 plus hours at some point, like in the beginning.
yeah,
Like it was
yeah,
crazy. You get into a storm, you
yeah.
just go again.
I know, especially when the queue used to be bad. I was like, once you're in, I was like, I don't
Yeah,
want to,
yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
to risk getting out and like not being
Mm-hmm.
able to get back for like another 3, 4 days. All right. Autumn asks, Eve's day off is infamous in the server as the epitome of chaos. If current Eve took a day off, do you think it would trigger the same chaos in the city?
Um, I don't think so. Now, by the way, guys, Eve's Day Old VOD is up on YouTube. Yeah, go watch it if you haven't watched it. But no, I don't think so. I think if I I think if I put my phone away, I don't think, I don't think it would be the same. I really don't. Unless Lang needed me for something, I don't think so.
Right. Uh, Next one. Stereo asked, does Eve see a lot of similarities between Lang and Luciano? And if so, does it scare her at all?
Even if she does see similarities, I don't think it scares her because she's so used to it, right? It's like she's just she probably just like looks past it, right? It's just like whatever, right? Because she is so desensitized to Lang's antics that it just probably it just doesn't phase her at all. So even if there were similarities, Eve is just so used to it. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like even if things were the same, I know a lot of people say that there's like a lot of like, oh, Lucian is like mini Lang or whatever. But I don't know if there's worse things like that. I don't think Eva's like realized it yet.
Okay. All right. The next one, JP said, does Eve have specific perma conditions? And if so, would you share them?
Um, I don't have perma conditions, but I've always thought that if the RP scenario um catered to it, then I would consider it. Yeah, like if I think about the perfect perma, I look to like things like Meopherion, right? I don't think Bass thought, like Sab thought that he was going to perma Bass in that moment, right? He just thought it felt right. Like if I think about like Meowferion's perma, um, like I cried during that perma. God, like I remember watching it live, and I was like, and him actually dying, like that is one of the moments where I feel like he probably knew that he was probably going to perma at that rate. So I feel like I know that if I had the perfect moment, I would consider permaing Eve. And again, but the thing about permaing is that there's like a lot of things where you have to consider like what impact is it gonna leave too? Because Bass's death left such a big impact as well, and I would want it to mean something as well.
All right. Sulman asks if or is Lang Eve's number one out of love or fear?
Hmm, good question. Neither. I would say just loyalty.
All right. Next one, Muddy Waters said, "Are the vibes off with Nancy, or is or no, with Nancy and Eve, or is it just a consistency thing?"
Hmm, I think it's probably just because Nancy isn't around consistency, like consistency like enough. Um, so I think people probably think that the vibes are off, but it's hard to like for Nancy to keep up with a lot of stuff when um when she's not around a lot of the times. And I mean, Eve gets pissed off with Nancy a lot when she tells her things. And then, for example, you know, yeah, she told Lang about her dream, about Eve's dream. That's right, Sliz. Like when, you know, Lang's Eve's dream was to run Cerberus with Lang, and then Nancy went and told told Lang that, and that was Eve's thing that she didn't really want to share. She shared that out of trust that she has with Nancy, and then she just did that. So I think that I don't know. I feel like Nancy and Eve have that typical like jealous sibling nature between one another where we can love each other a lot and then we can like have like weirdish like vibes that we just never work through sometimes, you know? Nancy is definitely
Right.
the big sis, big responsible sis, and Eve can be a little shithead sometimes.
Your little bro.
Yeah, definitely.
You're also little bro.
Yeah.
All right. Phenomenal asks, what scenario Eve most likely to head towards, or would you prefer for Eve with the remaining at 3.0 and 4.0, assuming relationship connection continues? Whether it's so Eve having her own empire and keeping relationships with Luciano and Lang separate from business, uh, Eve Eve and Luciano having their empire and relationship separate from Lang, disconnect from him since she doesn't need him now, and that she owns Cerberus. And then the last one is dynamic like Denzel, Andy, and Sis had, where Eve can have family with Luciano and do business with him, but also be Lang's right hand woman and have an empire with him also.
Mm, I don't know, guys. I don't know what's gonna happen in 4.0. I mean, Eve and Luciano still gonna be together in 4.0? No?
Yeah.
Are we still gonna have the same relationship with Lang in 4.0? Like, are we gonna do business with Lang in 4.0? I don't know. I don't know. You guys are asking for like 4.0 like storyline. We don't know. I don't know. Nobody
Yeah.
knows. Yeah,
Yeah. I was thinking about
yeah.
it too. It's
You guys are asking for the script. You guys are asking for the whole script. Whereas we are method actors. We don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow for roleplay. You know?
right.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah, we have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I also think like too, like just to see what 4.0 brings with like mechanic wise and whatnot, like that's gonna influence a lot like on the things you could do with like business or like even like
Mm-hmm.
maybe there'll be more Civ stuff. So like it's hard to say because we don't know like what mechanics and interiors and stuff that they're bringing.
Yeah. I for sure I want to shape business. I want to help shape business because I feel like I'm really good at that. But, are there going to be opportunities to do that? I don't know. We'll see.
Right. Okay. Darude asked, do you think that Luciano and the DiCenzo Famiglia entered Eve's life at a good time in her story, since it was during the transition of leaving the guild and the loss of her father? And if you had the choice, at what point in her story do you think their introduction to Eve's life would have been a better fit?
Um, I think it was a really good time because I feel like it couldn't have been earlier because of what Eve was going through. Like, for example, I think I talked about it a bit. At some point, it's like when everybody was like warring GG and everybody was hanging out the restaurant, like everybody was there for coverage. And, Jaeger had made a point to tell GG, you leave Eve alone unless she gets herself involved. Um, but, the Italians and, CB and everybody was protecting the brass and stuff. Like, Eve couldn't get involved. But again, Eve didn't know anybody at that point either. So I feel like Eve had to sort out that part of her life before moving on to the next part. And I really don't think that there was a better time than Eve letting go of her former life and her former issues and then essentially moving on to what awaited next. So I think it was a really good time.
Right. The next question, Ivory King asks, if you never left the guild, do you think they still wouldn't have been around anymore, and you still would have slowly transitioned to hanging with the Italians?
Yeah, I still guys, the guild is like, we all know their availability. They come around whenever, once in a blue moon. So I still maybe Eve still would have started hanging out with the guild, but it still would have been Eve still would have been in her awkward phase of like, you know, it just would have been very awkward as well. Like with everything hanging over her, it's like, oh, Lang wants to kill the guild, you know, every other day, and then she's with the Italians, like hanging out with Italians, maybe not as much, but yeah, she probably would have found herself, moving towards the Italians a bit more. But, that day where she was, I feel like she was very close to, I don't know what line Leslie, Harry, Denzel were planning for Eve, but that day she had to make a choice. It was either the guild or Cerberus, them, that day at the ranch as well. Like, there was a choice to be made, and I don't know how everything would have been okay without a deep emotional talk. But I feel like the guild and the Italians would have gotten along really well as well.
Right. Okay, the next one. Banana asks, "What made Eve adopt Arya?"
Funny story, Eve didn't adopt Arya. Arya adopted herself. She just started calling Eve mom.
And then she emancipated herself too.
Yeah, yeah. Arya just like it happened a long time ago. It happened like the start of like the reef, like when we were still at the farmers market. She just started calling Eve mom, and yeah, that's when it started. Eve just accepted it, was whatever, and yeah, and then she just unadopted herself.
Wait, has Eve like talked to Arya since like she got unadopted or no?
uh, no, she took down Ray's stashes at the Ross compound the other day, and Arya was there. So when she left, she said in the most coldest tone ever, "Hope you're doing well, Arya," and she left. Got in her car and left. Yeah.
I have not even ran into Arya
Oh,
once.
she's in the South Side now. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's
probably
true.
won't
I just
ever
want
run
to text
into her.
like you up one day, just for the spice.
Just we'll see what she says. Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
should
I just want to see
yeah,
what
you
she.
should text you up, and then you should wait, and then you should say, "Sorry, I was drunk."
Yeah, I'm so gonna do that. I'm so gonna do that. All right. T. Davy said when Eve told Lucy that Lang had to be number one in order for them to work, did she mean in the context of their personal relationships or over everything?
Um, probably both. Probably like over everything because business can't work, the personal relationship can't work if there ever comes a situation where like either of them have to choose between it. I don't think it's over everything. It's like he doesn't have to put Lang over everything. He just has to put Lang over Eve. He doesn't have to put Lang over his family. He doesn't have to put Lang over his own business. He just has to put Lang over Eve because Eve never wants to be in a situation where he chooses Eve over Lang. That is her only fear, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
She just never wants to be in that situation because I
Sounds
think
like somebody needs to do the Dark Knight situation with Lang and Luke, or with Lang and Eve.
I mean, at that rate, I hope that he knows that, he'll just need to pick up at the hospital.
Right. All right. The next one, Autumn. Oh, this is a good question. This is a really good question. Autumn said, if Eve had a theme song, what would it be?
Ooh. Ooh, that's good. Damn. I don't know. I
Yes.
feel like Overcome by Lil Cap has become like Eve's theme song. But I don't know. I like that's just like because we've been we've been playing that for a very long time. It's just like our theme song, just in the stream, in just ever since Lang's like mayoral term as well. But I feel like it would be something depressing at some rate as well. Or 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 it would be that CEO song that Nidus played when he landed his thing or at the reef, like his little
Oh, I saw that clip.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
think I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mexico,
it's
there
got
we
like the
go. Yeah,
glider.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Mexico. Yeah, there we go, Mexico, and it's like something something CEO. Yeah, it was a really good song, but yeah. Yeah. I don't know, I'll actually think about that one and get one.
Yeah, mine. I always used to play mine. It was Slim Shady
Oh my god.
by Eminem. That's what I always used to like intro my streams with back on like Red Dead.
On Red
Um,
Dead?
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
um, Fredo or Iwan asked, "Why is Eve so small?"
But that is just not true. That is that is that is just no, he's projecting right now. He's just projecting. Everybody knows that he is tiny. But Eve is not small. She has the heels that proves it.
Okay. Um. All right. Banana asked, when Eve and Lucy get married, who do you think is most likely to make a scene at the wedding or object during the ceremony?
I love how the reacts are Terra Nova, Capped, and Lang.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my head, it's Pigeon is gonna glide in or parachute in, and he's gonna object. He's gonna be like very, very dramatic. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think
I
that's
can
gonna
see that.
happen. I can't see anybody else doing that, and if somebody does, I can see um, Nancy shooting them down.
That would be the most pigeon thing. Like you're like spot on with that. He's just like on a
Yeah,
glider or a parachute coming
yeah,
in and like lands
yeah,
next to Luciano or something, like takes him
yeah.
or
And
something like
he says, "My lover." He's
yeah.
like dramatic.
Then he
Yeah.
then he does his bots reading of like he's like "EagleAye, a Ferrari Ferrari." He always says it so like wrong.
Legally
It's so funny.
Ferrari. Yeah.
Yeah, he always says it's so wrong and it's so funny every time he does it. All right, the next one. Ivory King said, "Does Eve feel some type of way like Lucy in that they are meant to have a co-leader, but they themselves seem to be leading 80%, 80 to 90% of the time?"
Well, that question aged badly. Um,
Yeah,
since Vito is back now. Um,
yeah,
I mean, I feel like at that time, Luciano was doing a good job, right? Like he was. I don't feel like he took on too much stuff, and I feel like he's just slowly learning how to delegate in general. So I don't think that that's like a bad thing. Um, and I mean that's a good way to learn as well, right? Just he just learns how to do it by himself, you know. Even after losing Vito and even after Vito leaving, he just learns by himself. I mean, Eve had to do that as well. So he just has to learn, but he doesn't have to do it anymore. So it's kind of aged badly.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited for Vito to be back. Well, out of character. Love Croc. Don't like Vito. Um, Inkheart asked, "What has been some of your favorite moments or arcs over the course of 3.0?"
um, hmm. I think my Cerberus arc obviously has been one of my favorite times. I've like enjoyed learning business. I've enjoyed having time with like Buddha himself, like Lang. Eve's Day Off was like my favorite arc ever. I enjoyed spending time with um, learning things on Eve from Leslie, from um from Dean as well when he was still around. Um, I miss what's something I really miss is after business, my dumb shit time, Eve's dumb shit time with the guild was like my favorite thing ever. We toilet papered people's houses, like put little scenes on their houses, and it was so fun. And then just like shenanigans with the HOA, and there was some really really good, just like such good times that you don't get anymore. Like it's times like that where you're just like, I just wish I could just like do that just one more time, you know?
Right.
Farmers market as well was really good. Like you don't people are still learning things and you you just want that back just one more. That's why I think people just like try to revitalize like the farmers market every time because they just want that back and I don't think they're ever gonna get it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I know they tried like doing it in like Mirror Park, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've tried so many times and it's just never going to be the same. They're never going to get that
Yeah.
nostalgia back.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like any shenanigans with a majority of people, like I'm so grateful to have experienced at a lot of times. And especially like the server events were really fun. Um, I really just, the amount of effort that goes into just the content in the server is just, I've had a lot of good times on the server and the guild so special to me and obviously my time in Cerberus. Love it as well.
All right. Very nice. Incard again said, "What are some differences between Eve when she was starting out in the city compared to current Eve?"
Ooh. Um, yeah, we were talking about this the other day in my Discord because uh, my mod team was redoing my wiki in preparation for 4.0, and
Hmm.
they keep on they keep on making fun of me because yeah, Eve was listed as like naive and she would just wanted to do good for the city. There was something about I don't know, there was something about just I don't know, holding the rich accountable. Holding the rich accountable for the actions, and now Eve is the richest person in the city. And yeah, the differences are very stark, but Eve is very, very cold. Um, she isn't phased by a lot of things anymore. Like if you were to she's also like used to like for example if somebody were to kidnap her like today and try to hold her accountable for something as well, especially if it's just because she's collateral, she wouldn't blink honestly because it's just like and the way she's treated as well in the city after all she does is try to do good and people don't don't take the time to talk to her. It just pisses her off. um, that if she could, she still would burn down the city. But again, she's just tired of it. She's just exhausted. And back then, she just wanted to do good. She still does do good because it's in her job title. She does construction, she does a lot of other things, so she has to do that. But I don't know, the city has turned against her, so why does she owe anybody anything anymore?
Right. Hugh Honey asks, "Does Eve regret being outside Guild Hall the day Lang and Denzel went in to make RPGs?"
Oh, kinda. Yeah, that act blew open a lot of, oh, yeah, that was a bad day. I think that day Eve hurt Lang a lot with something she said. Um, she hurt him a lot with something she said, and I don't think that they've recovered from that either. I can't remember exactly what she said, but she hurt him. And I don't think I think probably that day is the day that they never recovered from their personal relationship as well. And yeah, Eve was like, I think her actions, yeah, exactly, Gobbler. She was trying so bad to ocean dump herself to forget that that happened because she knew that she had to tell the guild that that happened, and she would have rather get ocean dumped than deal with the repercussions.
All right. The next one, who plays the more accurate Eve, Dragon or Big Joe?
Oh, we can add somebody extra to that, Alex as well, so she dressed up as Eve for Halloween. Um, Jesus. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen enough of Big Joe as Eve. I'd have to say God, because I think Dragon uses it more, and I'm actually worried because Arya's with Dragon now, so I'm actually kind of worried if that's the reason Arya's with Dragon is because of Dragon's Eve cosplay. Yeah, I'd have to say Dragon.
I didn't even know Dragon dresses up as Eve.
Yeah, he's done it for so long. He even dressed up as Eve one day to like shit talk Kami. It was really funny. Because Kami and like Nick did this thing where it was so random. It was like months later, like she wasn't with either of them, and Dragon like did this thing, oh where he was like, do you like want me to like make sure that Kami never thinks about you again? And I was like, sure. And then and then like I was standing behind the like a pillar, and Dragon was just like peeing as Eve, and I was just like talking to Kami. And it was very, very funny. I felt so bad doing that. I actually want Kami to officiate the wedding if it happens. It would be so funny.
Yeah, I don't think I know who that is. I don't think I've ever met that.
Uh,
Met, met them.
Kami?
Yeah.
He's a Scissor's twin brother.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, is that like the one with the clips people send me of like the sepping thing?
Yeah, yeah.
I knew it. Okay, I knew the name sounded familiar a little bit.
That's why. That's why. Yeah, he's Bison's Crim. If you know Bison.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I want him to officiate the wedding. I think it would be so funny. It would be such content.
That'd be so funny. All right. Oh. What are Eve's thoughts on running the H operation and growing poppies, even though she has an addiction?
Um, I don't know, because she's been doing this for so long. She developed her addiction afterwards, right? I mean, she's also lost access to the operation like what 4 or 5 times. Um, and it's I just don't think that she wants to lose it again because remember how long we waited for the operation. We waited so long to have access to the operation. God, Lang like continuously told us like, you know, diamond hands, and it was, you know, growing is important to Eve. I think it calms her down as well. And yeah, we lost access more times than I can count just because of Lang's antics. And I mean, fair enough, you know, Eve has done dumb things, but yeah, at the end of the day, as long as we pay for it, you know, we can do heroin.
Hey. Gopher Boy said, "Does Eve believe that Lang is actually #1 to Luciano, or is he just saying it?"
After yesterday, I think the family is number one. I don't think Eve is number one. I don't think Lang is number one. I think the family is number one. That's what Eve's thoughts are after yesterday's conversation. I think it's very, very clear after letting Vito come back, after
Right.
everything that's happened. And I think that family is much, much, much more important than what they've been telling each other, and that no, at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. And
They do.
it's much clearer to Eve that it's the family above all. And even if he states it that it's the business, it's not at the end of the day. It's a family.
Yep. Milk asked if 4.0 was a memory wipe and you could only remember 5 people, who would you remember?
Oh, it's a good question.
That is a
Jesus.
good question.
Ooh. Hmm.
That's a difficult question.
Hmm. God. Jesus Christ. That's actually such a good question. Only 5 people?
That's so hard. That is so hard.
That's actually crazy. Chat is like definitely Carlo. Jesus. Remember stag 5 times? Oh, bass? I don't know. I actually don't know. That's such a hard question. Like who would I want to remember?
Yeah.
I would want to think about people who's been like very impactful to like Eve's life, but it's like it's kind of crazy. God, imagine like somebody who was like, that's crazy. I don't know if I can answer this. This is like, it's like actually crazy. I feel like Adonis would definitely be one of them. Adonis is 100% being remembered. I love Adonis too much.
Yeah,
Like,
that is a hard question.
yeah. You know what? I'll circle back to this one, but like Adonis is one of the five.
Okay.
Adonis over Bruno? Yeah, Adonis over Bruno. Yeah.
All right. We can come back to that. Then okay, Hawk said from all the cute Eviano moments, which one's Eve's favorite and why?
Hmm. Hmm. I'd say I think the cutest one is probably Luciano's stubbornness to not give up. Probably the day of Bucky's pool party where God, he was being rejected. He was literally just being rejected. And this man said, I literally rejected him twice in that conversation. And and this man, I was ready to leave, and this man says, and that's why I'll wait for you. And I was just like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
I think I
Oh,
think I think that's probably one of my favorite moments because I think that was a character like moment of Eve where she decided that um she'll probably try to fix all her shit because he's probably worth it. Because he asked questions like, you know, would this have been something?
right.
And then he went on a date with Ashira a day later.
Oh, I remember that.
That's
I remember that.
crazy.
I remember that.
Yeah. It was just a business deal. Yeah, right. Oh god damn. Yeah,
I
Eve
saw
is
some people say
having
the filler episode. That day was fun too. I remember that.
I wish
That
there was like more shit of that where you just forget about the world and you just do dumb shit the whole day.
literally, we were just watching the server population go
Yeah.
down because like 5M was down, and I remember it was like at 100 or something,
Yeah.
and then like slowly it started going from like trickle down to where it was like 13
Or
people
yeah.
left in the entire
Yeah.
server.
We literally Bane and Luciano did that yesterday, by the way. When he put Bane on the chair, Luciano went 176 and Bane F8 quit. It was such a good
Yeah,
day. I
that day was
remember
so fun.
how
That was
hard
so
we
fun
were
because we were like, what are we
trying.
gonna do? No one's around.
Yeah,
And we
we were
just
trying so hard to like not do anything that made us do like restarts. Remember when Luciano got stuck
oh, I
in the fucking
know.
void?
Oh my God, we were like, oh no, he's gonna be gone for the day.
Oh 07, oh 07.
Yeah,
Oh, that was such a good
that
day.
was actually yeah. Someone made an artwork from it like a bit back, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was so good with like the PD boat and like Carlo falling off like the bike off Sid's bike. It was so funny.
You need to do
uh,
like Saturday shenanigans of like that when nothing's going on.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, everyone's saying Silo.
Silo.
Uh, never was a thing, guys.
All
Uh,
right.
Next one. Gopher Boy said, was Eve ever leaning towards leaving Cerberus before she left the guild?
Shockingly, yes. Actually, she was. So I wasn't streaming during this time. Like the picture you guys see right now, I was having all of these conversations offline. I was meeting up with Jaeger. I was meeting up with um the guild. I was meeting up with Alex. I was meeting up with like Fizma, Lando. Sorry, I was meeting up with all these people, and I was having offline conversations, and it was a very rough time on like my mental state as well, because I had to decide like what is Eve gonna do, and what does that mean for like my future as well, like as playing Eve, like if Eve leaves Cerberus, I don't have any more business because I'm probably going to lose everything. And then obviously if I leave the guild, I leave all of these people who are my family. But yeah, I had a lot of conversations where the conversations did lean towards um this picture as well. I just want to talk about this picture. Um Jaeger, after that conversation on the mountain, Jaeger, I was like, the house is this way. And he basically said, I'm taking the long way. And he said, because this is the last time we'll ever be together. And that was just like the sweetest thing that he's ever said. And we drove 2 more times around the island. And it was just really sad. But yeah, a majority of the conversations I had with the guild was like, what would our life be like? What would my life be like if I was gonna leave Cerberus? And it was a back and forth between, do I leave Cerberus? Do I leave Lang? What do I lose? Jaeger was very against were very against it. He said, you lose everything. You lose
Right.
everything if you do. And I said, I know. Me and Bruno were making contingencies to protect the reef in event of me trying to decide to do that. We met up with Norman to see what we could do in case that was, a possibility, just to protect the reef, to make sure that, you know, we wouldn't lose it completely if that was the case. If I transferred ownership to Bruno, and like a lot of that was happening offline, just to see, just to make contingencies in case that was ever, or if, I decided to perma, who knows? But I didn't know what I was gonna do up until that moment. Leslie, Lang, and Denzel were standing in front of me. I had written everything down. I had written the speech down. I'd written the talking points down, and I was like, and I completely forgot about everything that I was gonna say. I was like, what am I saying? Um, I remember I still wanted to ask Lang, like, why does Eve why does Eve live at such a higher standard than everybody else in his life? Because it's true, like nobody else, he doesn't treat anybody else the way that he treats Eve. So yeah, I did consider leaving Cerberus.
Right. Um, so if Eve had a structure like the hand slash black hand, uh, and could pick anyone in the city, who would she pick and why?
Ooh. So explain that to me, Vasa.
Yeah, I was about to ask you if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
knew.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the hand is essentially um, minus now Vito and Luciano at the top. The hand is essentially uh, a group or kind of like a committee directly underneath where things who kind of have a bit more power or influence over the family and um, kind of help with certain situations, like if there's things come up, the committee kind of gets together and we're to kind of figure out problems or situations or how to go about moving forward with you know whatever it may be. So Joe is considered like, or I think Joe was kind of like the palm of the hand, and then there was like the fingers, like now or like Mateo, Carlo. I think Joe's actually like the finger now is what I think Luciano was saying, but it's essentially like a like a group or committee that's kind of like directly under Luciano and Vito.
And everybody has like does something specific, like a speciality, basically.
Um, I think that's kind of the point too, is to have different personalities and different people who do different maybe kinds of work, so that way you kind of get that well-rounded opinions. So like for instance, like Donnie is also on there, right? Like Donnie's fully
Mm-hmm.
legal, like completely clean.
Mm-hmm.
So like having him, like he's a part of it as well. And then obviously you have like Mateo's like very heavily with like the drug game, and then Carlo is kind of I don't know, like wild card, I guess, a whore. I don't
You're just like, why am I
know.
that?
Um, I guess Carlos. I like. I mean, I've been around the city for a long time. I know like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the stuff, and then, um, like Tiny as well is there for
His
like drugs
empire.
and stuff. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of pretty like well rounded,
Okay.
and kind of to have everyone kind of do their own thing, but they can come together and you know uh delegate or whatever, figure out problems within the
Mm-hmm.
family or external.
All right.
The document bitch. That's crazy, Jura. That's actually crazy.
Mm. All right. So anybody from the city, I'd pick Flippy as a war commander. I feel like that would be a good one.
Yeah,
I
that's a
would
good pick.
pick Tim. I feel like I would pick Himothy. Himothy would be for all the paperwork. Um, and three more. I'd pick Stag. Stag is actually when he's not high. Um, Stag has like a. I don't think a lot of people know, but Stag has another personality. Comes out when serious shit needs to be done. Um, and he defended the greenhouse with us when um when it got found the first time, like a year ago. Yeah, and he's a spy as well. He's um he's actually I think he's very slept on. He's like a sleeper, actually. Stag does call people sluts. Yeah. So yeah, Himothy, Stag, Flippy, and then two more. I'm trying to think. Oh, I'd have OTT. Yeah, just throw OTT in there. Yeah, just throw OTT in there.
PT. So you
Yeah,
can have an artist just
yeah.
just for the music.
I'll just throw OTT in there. Yeah, OTT to make people mad. Yeah, I feel like that would be really funny. Yeah, the king baby. Yeah. Um, and then one more. Hmm. I feel like I want to put like I'm gonna put Patrick there, guys.
Patrick.
I'm gonna put Patrick there. I'm gonna put Patrick there because guys, he's secretly a serial killer. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you guys, he's been a serial killer all this time. One day he's gonna snap and just murder everybody.
Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
come into the rooster's rest, and it's just gonna be dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah. Actually, he secretly has access to the basement and it's just filled with bodies. Yeah. That's my five.
That's a five right there. That is an
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting dynamic to have them all at the table together.
I just can't just imagine just Patrick and any of those like four people at the table. Just imagine Patrick and OTT having a conversation.
Oh god. All right. The next, Milk said, "Has there ever been a moment where you weren't streaming and something happened? You thought, 'Damn, I wish I was streaming for this.'" I feel like that happens a lot, probably.
Yeah. Um yeah. A majority of my I mean sometimes it's very nice to a majority of the times where I can talk to Jaeger, I I'm happy that I'm not streaming because a lot of those conversations I feel like would be over scrutinized. And I would rather have those conversations without anybody watching because it feels more real. Um, And I mean, if I wanted to share those moments, I could just record it, right, and post it. But um, I really don't. I mean, there's probably a bunch of times that has happened. I can always press the go live button, but there's probably true. The ICC airstrike was I wasn't streaming that day. Um, Probably the day of me making my decision to tell Lang and Leslie that I was leaving the guild. I feel like it would have been good to get my thoughts that day, but God, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing until I did it. And yeah, I mean, there's yeah, Jaeger shooting Alex is Lexi. That was a good one. Yeah, just big moments like that. I think but again, like I can't control like when I feel good and when I don't, you know? So
Right.
I'd rather not force like wanting to stream every single day either.
Yeah. Okay, the next one, Miss Penguino asks, what are Eve's biggest fears at the moment?
Mm, I feel like Eve is very accomplished right now. Um, I guess the only thing that she stands to lose is Luciano at this point. I don't know if there's I don't know if there's any other fear that she does have, but she's also not bothered if she does lose him to an extent because she feels like she's destined to just be miserable at this rate because of what she's been through. Um, I think her biggest fear is just the consistency of losing people because it just makes her more cold. It makes her shut down and it makes her use drugs. So yeah, I think it's just consistency of losing people.
Does that include Lottie ending up with Carlo? Is that a fear as well?
if she if she wants to be with Carlo just to kill him in the end, you know, she can do that.
Um, all right. Zet said, uh, what's left on Eve's bucket list?
Um, hmm, killing Rami. Yeah, he probably thinks that Eve has forgotten, but yeah, she hasn't. Yeah,
God, that'd be so good.
yeah.
Zet, second question is, does having a semi OOC role like construction impact your roleplay opportunities? Is there anything you would change in the future?
Yes. Like I said, it stops me from being biased and it stops me from, you know, just saying no to things as well. And I would separate those roles in the future um, by making different characters in the future. Definitely, I think it does impact the role play. Unfortunately, I would try to
Yeah.
separate a lot more things that I do um, in the next wipe, 100%.
Yeah. And then the last question by Zet said, what is Eve's favorite Shakespearean play and why is it Romeo and Juliet?
You're so dumb, Zad. That's crazy. Yeah, sure. That's definitely it's the probably the only one that Eve knows, honestly. That's why she referenced it that day. And it also she's very regretful for even mentioning Romeo and Juliet that day. It actually made things 20 times worse on Eve's day off.
That's the only one I know. Uh, uh, the True Watch said, does Eve still think that Carlo is misunderstood, or has she changed her stance after the whole Lottie situation?
Oh, hmm. Yeah, I mean, Eve might change Carlo's name to Devil Boy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Mm. Um, no, I mean, I think even Carlo had like deep talks really early on. Um, so Eve kind of does think that he hides a lot of his experiences and pain from people. So she would still think that his actions are hidden by a lot of his previous life experiences. So she'd still say that he's misunderstood and people just don't know it. I think she kind of forgets it as well sometimes. Um, just because of that one conversation they had that one day at the family table.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, next one. Milk said, "Do you think Eve will ever pull the trigger and kill someone on her volition, or would she have to be forced to do it?"
Um, it depends on the situation, but like I said, Eve has a gun, but it's for very extreme situations, but she still wouldn't do it. She's not violent in nature. She maybe has violent thoughts, but she wouldn't if it was a forceful situation, yeah, but she just wouldn't pull out the gun and do it. Give Eve a trank gun though, sure, but I don't think she would. It's not in. I don't know why it's not in her nature though. Um, but I feel like she is low key savage. She was very happy when Juno got shot. God, so happy. Still so happy.
Same. Um, Monkey had asked, "How does Eve feel about Vito being brought back into the family?" That's a good question.
Hmm. Um.
Curious.
Yeah. Um. Personally, uh, you know, she feels that Luciano could potentially be blindsided by the fact that Vito is his brother, and he is probably just, you know, seeking out the aspect of wanting to finish something that he started with his brother, and that's fine. But it does not stop Vito's actions and things that he has said and everything else. And that might just be a thing that he's going to have to learn the hard way. Eve has experienced, people like Vito um, so much, so many people who take something, shows like do certain actions, and then you know throw it back in your face, and it's very hard to watch. But she probably, she'll probably just stand by and let it happen. She's also very um hesitant about Vito's um own reactions towards Cerberus and Eve itself. It's very hard to move forward from how he views Luciano's partner, when he isn't willing to budge from that. Like, how are you supposed to move forward when
Right.
Eve is so integrated into Little Italy itself? Eve is constantly creating opportunities for everybody, and is Vito's stance going to still be the same? So
Right.
it's very give and take, but you know, uh, Eve will never tell Luciano what to do. It's his business, and it's his mistakes to make. She'll just she'll just be there to clean up the mess, I guess.
Right. Next one is from Craigie. He's asked, "Is there anything you could change in Eve's 3.0 journey, and what would it be?"
Mm. Mm. Thing is about changing things is like if you start changing things, right, you don't get to the end result where you are right now.
Right.
Um, so I don't think I'd necessarily, if anything, I would just take away some bad things that happened, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'd necessarily change anything because that would change the way Eve is today. I
Right.
would just take away like bad interactions or people I've regretted meeting or things like that. But I don't think I would change. I don't think I would change anything because it just, everything happens for a reason.
Right. Right. Monkey to ask, who's the biggest whore in the city, Carlo or Raymond Romanoff?
Hmm. What do you
That's
think?
crazy. Um, I haven't interacted with Ray too much, but I don't know. I don't know. From what people tell me, it was like they're different kinds of whores. Like, I don't know.
Chad is saying Carlo because he's more successful. Damn, it's pretty unanimous that it's Carlo. That's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, then yeah, Carlo wins. Also, Ray dated Juno, so that kind of falls off, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. I actually forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Carla. Okay. Um. All right. The next one. Avenged. Maximus said a few months ago, even Alex were standing on top of the roof, or on top of the reef, and she got off the phone with Luch after another pause at the end of the call. You said they want to say the L word, but they don't, or but they just don't yet, and that it just feels different this time, or yeah, it just feels different this time. Could you elaborate a bit on what was meant by that?
Mm, it just feels different this time. Probably meant by Luciano felt different, I guess. I would probably say that everything with Luciano felt different compared to the previous relationships that Eve was in with like Fred, Nick. Like I don't even count Kami at this rate. Kami was just like a, a filler for like a few weeks. Um, yeah, I would just say that Luciano just feels different. I mean, there was an offline conversation that no Fred, Katie, Fred. Um, I would just say that like there was an offline conversation that that Eve and um Shadiko. There's an offline conversation that Frankie and Eve had, and it was very early on in the relationship where um, Eve basically told Frankie that she was gonna marry Luciano. It was so early on. It was like it was um it was very very early on. So I feel like that's what I meant by it. It just feels different this time. It felt worth it.
All right. Okay, the next one. Ribbon said, "Are there any arcs you are actively trying to close before 4.0?"
Um, hmm. No, I'm not trying to force any RP. Um, I don't think I'm trying to see where I'm just trying to see where things go, because I mean, who knows? 4.0 might, happen next week, next month. I'm not trying to force anything. Like, I'm not trying to force, a wedding between Luciano and Eve. I'm not trying to force anything. Just if it happens, it happens, basically. I never want to force RP. Like I said, me and Versa don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, So it is what it is.
Yeah. Um. Next one. Aim for the Bushes asked, Eve was described as the prodigy of the combined minds of Dean, Leslie, and Lang. What are some of the life lessons or business skills Eve has learned from each of them?
Hmm. Oh, that's good. I think from Dean, Eve learned a lot of, um, I think, just timeliness and time management, which is strange to say, but Dean definitely got things done very quickly, just because he was a dev and everything. I think timeliness and time management was definitely a skill that they definitely that I think Eve learned from Dean. And Dean gave Eve a real chance, like from selling offices in the start, from everything, and giving her the chance to do storefront work as well in the beginning. Um, so yeah, responsibility is pretty good. Leslie, of course, we stick with what would Leslie do in situations, and one of them is be petty. Um, and as well give people opportunity. Um, I think that is a good one as well. And yeah, everybody is replaceable. That is a very good one. Um, everybody is replaceable. That is one of Leslie's big beliefs that, if that person can't do it, find somebody else who can do it better. And from Lang, yeah, loyalty. That's a very good summary, only way. Um, Lang finds people who can be loyal, and then he rewards loyalty. And he also provides opportunity for people. And then if you are patient enough, that opportunity is rewarded. And yeah, I think Eve slowly learned that from all of them and combined them into the perfect business person.
All right. Skellington asks, "What are your thoughts on the quality of RP that Z and the Italians brought to the server?"
I think it was a breath of fresh air. Like, you guys coming over, and I think the server was in a state where we really needed it. Like, to be honest, um we just needed some fresh blood to just kick up some good ass RP, and you guys did exactly that. It was actually, and it's still happening every single day, from the littlest things. Everybody gets opportunity, and it's actually just the best feeling ever to just know that there will always be good role play with any of you guys.
Yeah. It's from just my own personal experience. I mean, from coming over like with them, I've loved it. Like everyone's been so like welcoming, and I love like all the support and everything. It's been like crazy these last like I don't even know how long it's been. It's gone by so fast. Like when we came
Mm-hmm.
over, like I feel like we just came over, and it's like been
Mm-hmm.
months already. And it's like Jesus.
And you guys also don't say no to roleplay as well. Always say yes to everything
Yeah.
that comes into your path. You always say yes, and
Right.
it's very refreshing. I love it.
Yeah. Um. Where am I? All right. The next one. Jura. It's a two-part question. The first part is, who does Eve love more, Jaeger or Stag?
Okay. Okay, I have to choose one. Um, Jesus Christ. I'd probably, God damn it. Jesus, actually so horrendous, Juro. I hate you. That's actually crazy. I would, Jaeger would kill for Eve. Jaeger would has drowned Rust for Eve. But I feel like I will tell them the answer right now. Shut up, Shadiko. That's crazy. You can't do that. Vicky is streaming. You actually can't do that. Shadiko is in a. Oh, I'm choosing Stag because of that. I'm choosing Stag. I'm choosing Stag.
All right. And then with that, uh, the second part of the question is choose one, forget everything about the other. The answer to the first question, so Stag or Luciano.
Oh my god, so now I have to choose between Stag and Luciano?
And you would forget everything about the one you don't pick.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck are these questions, Jero? That's crazy. Oh my god. Still in the call. GG. Okay, well, Stag is dead, so um I'd then pick Luciano.
All right. Um. Anthony said many people are starting to see parallels or similarities between Lang and Luciano's personality as Luciano grows as a leader, calling him Mini Lang. Would it be a positive or negative thing in Eve's eyes if he were to be more similar to Lang?
Um, Probably a positive. Did I win over Jaeger? Yeah, you did, Gigi. You did win over Jaeger, but you didn't win over the Italian. I'm sorry. Luciano. Um, I mean, I would say it's a positive thing, but again, like Eve hasn't really, like I answered earlier. Um, I don't think that taking this in game. All right, buddy. Uh, um, I don't think that Eve really sees it honestly because she's so conditioned to it. So I don't really think that it matters, right?
hmm Um, oh, Lilac asks, not an Eve. Wait, oh, not an Eve Summers question, but more so Eagle. Can you tell us the story of how or what got you into RP and streaming?
Um, so this is like a two-part question. And it has to do with like the person who plays Eve's second dad, Dante Wolf, who's also a South African streamer. I used to be in like the South African gaming Discord, and I met the Wolfie, who plays Dante Wolf, in that Discord. And I remember like checking out his like streaming channel. I was like, why is this guy like pretending he's like a cop and shit? I was so confused, like watching like his like clips and his VODs of like being like doing role play, like doing active role play. I was like, dude, that's so cringe. I was like
Yeah.
actually like, and but this was like way before like I applied to like role play, and I was just like, this is so like random. I couldn't understand it at all. And then I remember I was like on YouTube, and I think I randomly found one of Harry's clips of him like him like telling an Oxy guy who like NVL'd like enjoy the ban or something. It was really funny. It was like unhinged Harry in the beginning of 3.0, and
Enjoy the band.
yeah, he like it was so funny. And I remember then I like then followed like the GTA like P category, and I was like I was watching like I remember I was watching EU streams. So I was like watching cop views, like stuff like that. And then I watched like RP for like I watched Mecha and I watched Harry in the beginning, and then I applied for RP and for NoPixel, and then I got in. So yeah, that's how I started RPing. But what got me into streaming was just I was just doing like art and stuff. I was like doing illustrating, and I was just doing like random streams of like random games, and nothing felt right until I found roleplay. And then I just actively did that. So I was really, really happy I found something that I wanted to do every single day, despite having like 2 degrees and a teaching teaching degree as well, and I do nothing with it.
Like that's more common nowadays, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Or like people do like way different things than what they have a degree in. So was NoPixel your first server?
yeah, yeah. I never
Okay.
roleplayed before NoPixel.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you,
Um
Shadiko. I appreciate you a lot, and I miss you as well. I miss you and everybody else.
um all right. Lane calls down Eve. Okay, this is Jura again. Lang calls Eve down to the basement and she finds Luciano in cuffs. If Lang tells her to pull her gun and shoot Luciano, is she doing it? No questions asked.
Yes. Yeah, just yes.
Says yes.
Just yes. If Lang is still Eve's number one, just yes.
All right, Dura asked another one.
Oh
So
my
these are
god.
like three, like I guess pick a person kind of thing. So the first one's Carlo or Flash.
Okay. Okay, Carlo or Flash? Jesus Christ. Hmm. Huh. Flash?
Nancy or Apple.
Nancy?
And Alex or Zakid.
Alex. And now Jorah's gonna say these were people you were supposed to kill. And not pick one over the other, because Jorah had like no context at all.
um, Next one is Skellington said, "Do you think Lucy would pull the trigger on Eve for Lang?" No questions asked.
I would hope so. I would hope so. That's what I expect. That's the deal we made, right?
Yeah. Um, Driz Leone said, or asked, coming towards the end of 3.0, do you feel that Eve has accomplished everything she would have wished for when she came into the city?
Um, I think so. I think Eve should have run for mayor a bit earlier on before the whole Cerberus is bad stigma came about. I think I would have liked to be mayor at least once, but in retrospect, I don't think I would have made a difference at all. So I really think that I could have done um, one mayoral term at least. But I think doing mayoral things with Lang was enough to scratch that itch, I guess. Um, but other than that, I think we've literally done everything we've wanted to. I don't think there's anything. Okay, true techno. I would have wanted to do deputy of commerce things like just control the all of business in the city the way I've always wanted to. But hey, maybe we can do that in 4.0. You know, maybe we can shape business the way we want to shape business, so that isn't such a shit show. Um, maybe that could be a thing in 4.0, but Deputy of Commerce would have been a cool thing, a cool title to have, but I think we've done at least everything. I don't ever have the need to say that I wanted to rob a bank or shoot a cop. Um, that is that is essentially something I just didn't want to ever do, honestly.
Right. Um, Next one is Mori asked, was there ever a Jaeger offline convo with Eve that no one knows about? If yes, what's it about?
Oh, so many, so many, so many. What was it about? God, I mean, the type of conversations that you'd have with Jaeger offline was conversations that I would be more comfortable having offline, because then neither myself or Jaeger would get shit about it, and it wouldn't be, especially during conflict arcs, um, it would just be better conversations that would be had, and nobody would get shit for what we really wanted to say without people over analyzing and being over invested. So yeah, it was like definitely times before the war, during the Gigi versus Roosters conflict, when Eve was trying to leave the guild, like, and when Jaeger was in bad with Lang, like so many conversations, like I can't even explain. A lot of conversations were just and it was just more natural to be able to speak your mind with, and it felt very organic, and it was just better that way, that nobody knew what we were talking about, and it was just I could just be myself.
Right. Um, the next one is does Eve know about Raven?
Yeah, she got the unlock that Raven, that Lang started Raven. And she doesn't know what he's gonna do with it, but she does know that he did start Raven. And
Okay.
that, yeah, I mean, I can also see the business proposal, so I know, I know that he chat GPT that shit, because it's written in note form. But yeah, she knows exactly. She knows exactly what the business proposal says.
The next one is from Jura again. It says, "Did Eve choose Cerberus over the guild for the power, connections, or love, loyalty to Lang?"
In the beginning, she told everybody it was for Cerberus itself, and not just for the loyalty to Lang. But I think over the course of still, over the course of making the decision, I feel like it was for the loyalty to Lang. And then after a while, it just kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then the next one, Kev P asks, other than Bass, is there anyone Eve would like to bring back from the dead?
Hmm.
Good
I'd have,
question.
I'd have to think who's died, like who was like consequential, like um Meowfurion. I feel like I'd want to see Meowfurion back for like to see like what the reactions would be for Meowfurion. Definitely, that would be a really good one. Because if Meowfurion never died, would things have been different? Um,
Hmm.
I feel like that would have been good. Eve never knew Bassam. Um, and I mean, we would kill Dominic again just for the lols. And other people, yeah, I feel like Eve also didn't know Meowfurion really well. I think I would have wanted an opportunity to know Meowfurion too, because that's before Eve joined the guild.
But,
Yeah, definitely Meowfurion.
okay. Next one, Sugar Socks asked, how many times has Eve been shot?
How many times has Eve been shot? Uh, Jesus Christ.
A lot.
I don't think that much though. Like there's some days I go, I haven't been to the hospital in a while, and then that week I go to the hospital like a
Yeah.
few times, but it's never like gunshot. Like I know I've been shot. I know I've been shot by Flippy and Hydra because of being being big mouth because of when I thought they were just boosting and I thought they were trying to steal my grow and they came back and shot me and Bruno up. Um, I know it was I know it was Mandem shot us. I know Rush shot us, and it was mm, probably like less than 20. Probably less
Okay.
than 20. Yeah, yeah, pretty good, I think.
I was gonna say that's I feel like that's very low.
Yeah,
Um,
risk-free life, I think.
right. Radsad said, how would Eve grief Lang if the roles were completely reversed?
I don't think Eve would. It's not, I don't think it's in Eve's personality to grieve people. Yeah, I don't think Eve would have, honestly.
Right. The next one, Sugar Socks again asks, Since Eve runs the world, when Vito embraces the supervillain he is, how does she take him down?
Oh my god. uh, you know what? Eve is just gonna watch the world burn and then say, "I told you so." Yeah, I think that's what Eve's gonna do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stereo asked if there was an alternate version of Eve who never got into business, what sort of story would you like her to have?
So we kind of answered this question, what would have happened, that I think she would have become a ranger. But I don't, if Eve never came into, Eve never got into business, I don't really know what else we would have done. I think that,
What is that picture on your stream of me photoshopped as a saint?
the colors
What
of
is
Sage, yeah.
that? I've never seen that picture.
These are my YouTube thumbnails, I think. An environmentalist? Maybe. Like I said, I would have wanted to open a business up north. That was like, that was, it's from the recap. Sorry, yeah, I do recaps every day, and my team does recaps, and there was one of the pictures in the recap collage. Yeah, I think I would have started a business up north where I would have just been in Polito because I love Polito a lot. So I probably would have started a business up north. That's what I probably would have done if I never got into business. I still think I would have done RP up north and try to make Polito a bit more lively.
Okay. Jura said, "All right, my last question. I'll be nice. Any plans to do a non-SBS crim for 4.0?"
Ooh, I don't know. What do you mean by non-SBS? Because, you know, Sewer Gang is going to be a real thing. So
That
I
is,
don't,
I'm
so,
sewer gang.
so I don't know if it's going to be non-SBS though, Jura. Like, I can't promise that. You know, the RP and the sewers are going to be immaculate. But
The
I can't.
sewer systems is gonna be crazy.
The serious crime? Um, I mean, maybe it depends, right? I have like, I do want to, if I have like a few ideas, but you know, I do want to try out a crime. I do want to try out a crime, but we'll have to see what happens. Maybe Eve doesn't do business at all, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's true. Eve is technically white collar crime, right? Eve is very, very, very white collar crime. Um, she just doesn't get caught for anything she does. Even when they try, she still wins. um, but we'll see. We'll see. I might have plans, but I don't wanna put too much on my plate. Also enjoy the server when it does wipe as well.
Yeah, I want to see Eve Getaway Driver.
Oh my
Arc.
god. Have you ever seen La Wolfie, like La Wolfie's clip as his cop like bubble the shit out of like the rest of the PD? Like
No, I
we
haven't seen
play
that.
on the same ping. If I ever like had to do that, it would be crazy. He was called like Bubble Boy or something like that, or he's like called the Bubble. He had like a nickname, Bubble something, and it was crazy.
That's hilarious. um, Sugar asked, Eagle, what is your theory for who left the note in Juno's mailbox?
Oh, with a note that was like found a day or two ago.
I think so.
Hmm. Yeah, I was Carlo. I'm just throwing you under the bus because I think it's funny.
You actually think it's Carlo?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I'm just I think everybody has gone through like scenarios and theories about who's put the note in there, but I think it could be anyone.
What even was the note?
It was the angle or something.
I will not confirm or deny. Find out on RP. Um,
True. Find out on RP, guys. You heard it here fast.
pretending that
I actually
it.
like that
I'll,
nobody knows. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Juno framed him. I have my theories. It wasn't me. I'll say that it wasn't
Ooh.
me. I have my theories. I actually like didn't even know about it until like yesterday, I think.
I think my
So,
chat talked about it like this morning.
right, right. I swear, guys, it actually was not me. Like it was
I
not me. I
actually
logged
love
off. I think the day that happened or whatever.
I just love
Personally,
that nobody knows.
go ahead.
It's great. I love that nobody
Well,
knows.
if I were to guess, like thinking from Carlos' perspective, my first guess would probably be Sammy, just because
Sammy?
I know Sammy used to leave stuff in their old mailbox in Mirror Park.
Oh.
Um, like I think like drugs or stuff like he'd throw in there or something, and then also my second guess would be that Vito put it in there himself to frame Carlo to make it like.
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, nobody knows. I don't know who did it or
Damn.
if we'll ever know.
Okay, my theory is where Tiny has been, he's been living in the mailbox. Yeah, Tiny has been living in the mailbox all this time, cooking meth in Juno's backyard. Because that's what he's been wanting to do, and he's just leaving meth and notes in their mailbox. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of cooking meth with Tiny, I've been wanting him, like him and I always had this plan for him to cook meth in Nancy's house now that I have keys there. But he hasn't been around, so like we always wanted. I'm just so scared to do it. Like I'm so scared because like the house has so many windows, like it's hard to do it like without like. But I just want to take a picture of it and have it and send it to Nancy. Um. All right. Oh, the next one says, "Does the Solio, who plays Nico, he said, does the boss regret not being Morticia with her family?"
That's crazy. Me and Lottie were Morticia and Wednesday earlier that day, and then, Den's Eve was created. So I don't know, I feel like he's saying that if maybe the timeline would have been secure if the whole family was together. I feel like a lot of good RP came out of Den's Eve that day. The mask changed Eve. But yeah,
What?
I don't regret it.
The next one, Situ asks, "What is scarier, Eve's OG face or Luciano without the beard?"
Oh my god.
Oh my god! I remember when you came to
Okay, that
Spain
isn't
that
Eve's
one
OG
night.
face. That isn't Eve's.
Oh.
That was just the wrong Jason that like copied over, but from the screenshots, like from the slideshow today, like that's some of Okay, Situ just has the screenshots. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay,
Oh
I
god.
feel like Luciano with the beard is pretty scary.
Yeah, that was pretty scary yesterday when he took the beard off.
Listen, guys, the city changed Eve in multiple ways. Okay, the stress made her better looking. Eve looks like a super Karen. Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm biased, so I'm just gonna say Luciano without a beard. Okay.
You do. Eve does have that one outfit that is like the most mom, like Karen outfit.
Is it the one that I'm wearing in that picture right now?
Yeah, yeah. um, Skeleton asked, from all the people Eve sent a text to 2 days ago, who does she miss the most?
So yeah, 2 days ago, we went and texted like all the people who don't come around anymore. So she just like she texted Mickey like he's the reason like thank you for making Luciano like rob the Clean Manor, because if he didn't do that they never would have met and things like that. So he's kind of the reason they're together. So she went down and like texted a bunch of people. Um, she texted Bucky and Bane, and then they woke up yesterday, so that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know. She texted Leslie. She texted Mickey, Bucky, Bane. She texted Bass. Um, I would say Bass because he's dead. The rest of the people can still wake up, right? So
Right.
I feel like she would have to say I'd have to say Bass.
Okay. Um. The only way asked if Lang today came to Eve wanting to adopt her for whatever reason, would she accept or decline, and why?
Um, I feel like Eve would just probably say yes, just to just to appease everybody. Everybody's been wanting it for so long, but I also feel like titles don't mean a lot, right? It's just people's actions that make it more important as well. But I don't think
Right.
she would say no, and I also don't think there'd ever be a scenario that it would happen. But yeah, and to answer the question, she would accept.
Okay. Jub asked, Cliff, question part two. Joe and Carlo are hanging from a cliff. Answer the question.
I'm sorry, Carlo's falling. Joe has never done anything to upset Eve. Carlo is just racking
What?
up things. Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Carlo like wakes up in the morning. He looks in the mirror and he's like, "What am I gonna do today to piss off Eve?"
I Carlo saved Eve from Arya, okay? Arya could have burnt down Eve's empire from the inside, okay?
Yeah, it's true. Arya, that is true. We do credit Carlo for that. Now
Hmm.
everybody's gonna be like, Arya did nothing wrong. Everybody's gonna spam that now.
Arya's a saint.
Team Team Maria.
Situ as Lottie in the final brick of H in Los Santos ever is hanging off of a cliff.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
crazy.
Okay,
That's
well,
crazy.
okay, Situ, is Eve like heavily still addicted to heroin? That's the question. Like, I mean, like at the moment, Eve doesn't really care for heroin as much, so she'd save Lottie. But if she was addicted to heroin, at her sadness is a level at 7 out of 10. That's still too low. You have to like make her really sad, then she chews the brick. Like, is she sniffing the poppies at that rate? Is she licking them? Is she like is she like out of her mind? Like, does she need the is did somebody just die? You know, if somebody just died, then she'd probably choose the brick instead of Lottie. But then Lottie dies, and then she just needs another brick.
Another yeah. um the only way I asked if Harry didn't discover Eve or bring her into the business illegally, where do you think she would be right now?
um, illegally. Oh.
Hmm.
I mean, she'd still be doing just legal business things, right? Um, Yeah, she'd probably just do legal business things. I feel like Eva's very observant, so she always knows like other things are going on around her. But yeah, even if she wasn't brought into the other side of the business, she'd probably just be like Nancy, right? She'd probably just, I feel like she would just be like Nancy, just doing all of the other stuff necessary, and that would be fine. And maybe at some rate she would have done other stuff, but I think it would have been fine. But you have to remember, even if Harry didn't bring her into like the illegal stuff, like even Bruno still had like so much like other deals going on the side without the help of like Lang and Harry as well, right? So there was a lot of those things going on, even without the help of Lang.
Right. The next one, oh, this was also from The Only Way. How often do you see certain character decisions being changed or dropped due to how badly chatters try to force it?
Um, I try to not let chat influence too much stuff. We try to like, n- you know, hamper down on backseating and stuff like that. But I also, when chatters do try to force something, I would then mentally try to say that I'm not going to do something specific. Um, it does influence a few things, especially if somebody is trying to try to steer you some way, because you then it does, you start thinking about it, and then it kind of does influence your decision. So I mean, it's a good decision to talk about right now. If you guys are like chatters, try to do better. Like try to do better in how you do things, because it does influence how you know we do things as streamers and role players.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Just enjoy the
Um,
RP.
mm-hmm. Amen to that. Sugar Sock said, "Does Eve recognize the true leader of the guild, Stag, or who in her mind was or is the leader?"
Hmm. See, in the guild, everybody always said that Glorian was the guild leader, and um, I think Eve only saw Glorian like a handful of times in her time as being like part of the guild. Um, I definitely looked up to Stag in making guild decisions. Um, and Jaeger as well, even though they said a lot that we definitely don't have a guild leader. Um, but yeah, Stag was very, very wise in a lot of the decisions he made at some point. So yeah, I'd say between Stag and Jaeger was very Jaeger with his connections, because the rest of the city already viewed him as the leader of the guild, right? And then Stag was definitely Shadow Lead, I'd say.
Right. Um, what was your most memorable memory in the city? Um, and okay, I guess that's the first question. I'll wait to ask that second one.
Mm, 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 mm. Most memorable memory in the city. Memorable memory in the city. Honestly, from 3 years, I don't think I can choose one memory.
So that's hard. It's a hard question.
It's very, very difficult. I don't know if I can choose one memory. I think all like the events that we get to be part of is it's really, really fun. I don't know if even though they get retconned most of the time, I really enjoy them because it's just like a day you can just do whatever you want. I really enjoyed the Stranger Things one. It was really fun. Um, but yeah, but like character wise, a memory, I don't think I can just sit down. Um, actually, one of my sub alerts is where Lang and Eve are in split sides, and he says that you know he wished he had a million Eves. I don't bitch, I don't moan, I complain. every time he asks for something, I just do it, no questions asked. Like that is a good memory to have. I don't even remember what we were talking about, what the context of that conversation was, but that was a really good one. Um, it was a very uplifting moment because he just sat down and he just praised Eve for all the good qualities she had, and he just summed up like Eve's whole personality and just like he just spit. You're just spitting bars, honestly. That was a nice memory.
Right. And then Sliz also asked, if you could use their voice, who would you body swap with in the city?
You could use that voice.
Yeah.
And just because of Speedy's voice, I'd probably choose Speedy. I would just be Speedy for a day. I think that would be really funny.
Just so you can go night.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I would just be Speedy for a day. I think that would be really funny.
That would be funny.
Yeah, I'd be Speedy.
The next one, Enduran asked, considering Eve is a very peaceful, non-violent person, what would push Eve over the edge of killing someone or wanting to kill someone?
Um, Probably seeing somebody she cares about get hurt or killed, I think. That would probably push them over the edge, but um I don't really see a scenario where she doesn't have somebody else do her bidding for her because she has so many people who always offer to do it for her, and so she has those people. Um, or just yeah, somebody just being the Cerberus accountant because it's their fate to die. Yeah, sorry about that, Carlo.
Yeah.
Uh
Mm-hmm.
huh. Yeah. So yeah, it's just yeah. I don't think Eve is at breaking point ever. Honestly.
Right. The next one is Miss Penguino said, is there anything that Eve is missing in her life?
Um, as a whole, no, but she misses the guild. She misses Alex. She misses Bjorn, Lando, Jaeger, Stag. She misses the guild. Like for missing people, she misses that part of her life. But consist like currently missing people or things. Not really. I don't think that there's anything that she wishes she had, but doesn't have anymore.
Right. The next one is from The Only Way. It just says, is Eve happy?
Yeah, I'd say she's happy. She's way happier than she was. I'd say she's happy. Yeah.
Right. Crazy asked, Eve previously mentioned to Luch that she's a good hacker. Are there any specific illegal activities you wished you got the chance to do with them if you weren't a civ?
Huh? She'd say that she's a good hacker. I don't think I've ever said that I'm a good hacker.
Do
I don't think that I ever said that I'm a good hacker. That
you
must
think
have
you
been
could hack?
uh I hacked a police car once, and that was it. But I don't think I can do that yellow square thingy-majiggy thing. So
Yeah.
no, I don't think I can do that. Yeah, it was probably Nancy. I don't think it was Eve. No, I don't think I can hack. That yellow square blah 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 number thing is like it kills my brain. I cannot do that.
I
But
know.
like I
Yeah.
think boosting hacking probably, but like the other stuff, no, I cannot
Yeah.
hack. But illegal activities, I mean, I'd probably try to hit a bank or boosting. Obviously, there's all the activities I'd want to try if I wasn't a civ, but I don't feel like I miss out because I'm not doing them.
Yep. Um. All right. And Duran asked, if you could only run one type of business 4.0 and anything can be made by a dev, what would you choose? Could be something completely new.
Hmm.
A sewer business.
Business. That's kinda that's a thought and a half. I don't know. I'd have to see what people would want.
Yeah.
Money printing, so I could be the richest person and win RP? Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see Job Center coming back and it to actually, you know, not be automatic and people have to RP about it, like alongside it. I think that would be nice. But other than that, I don't know what I would want to run if I had something to run. Like I said, I just like giving people opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. The only way asked, do you see Eve and DaCosta's relationship improving?
No. No, no, no.
So what happened there?
He reminds Eve of a guy we knew who Eve didn't let shine. His name was G Baby.
Gee,
Yeah, G Baby. And yeah, Eve she gets PTSD when she talks to Paulie because he reminds her of G Baby, and G Baby told Eve, "Why won't you let me shine?" Like that's exactly what happened. And
yeah.
Paulie reminds Paulie it's exactly the same situation too. Like G Baby was running the mines and he was using it for his own benefit, and Paulie was doing the exact same thing. And it was it's just PTSD all over again. And yeah, I mean Carlo and Eve can talk about it in character too because I don't know, Eve is
Yeah.
not trusting Luciano's judgment on Paulie right now.
Oh yeah. I think Carlos in the same board thing, especially after the whole thing the other day with like
Oh, the
Dundee happened.
lockpicks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just red flags. He's just red flags. There's no good things about it.
Yeah. Um Serge S, how would you rate Eve's uncles from closest to most distant?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so um ooh, okay. So I feel like we can count Yuno into it as well. So I'd go with Yuno, Mickey, Mickey. Um I would put Tony in there as well. So this is from most distant. Okay, so Mickey, um Tony, because oh, Nino, God, fuck. Okay, wait, hold on. Nino, fuck, Donnie too. Okay, hold on. Donnie, Nino, Mickey, um, Tony, Sab, Harry. No, hold on, yeah. Harry, and then Denzel. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I had to
Right.
put Speedy, I'd put Speedy like, after Tony. Dude, Tony forgets our name half the time.
That's actually hilarious. Oh god. I miss Nino.
He says, okay, Nancy. Eve has never met John Paul, so she couldn't rank him anywhere. Mm.
um okay. When Evil Monkey asks, with the whole Juno Eve drama, do you think Eve has a part to play in it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Eve stirred the shit out of most of that, but um, I think Juno was being childish in her reaction to the whole thing. Um, like she definitely stirred. She stirred with the divine thing 100%. Um yeah, I mean I've said Eve is the worst friend to Juno 100%. Um but she stirred the whole divine thing with the intention of making Juno's life bad. Um because firstly she's not being honest to Vito by avoiding telling her the whole truth about divine. Which isn't very fair to Vito every time he asks about it when he knows nothing about divine in the first place. But the whole Juno thing, I don't think that's on Eve at all. I don't think that's on Eve at all. But I also think Juno is being like, again, like the rest of the city and assuming she knows what the whole situation is, and again, not talking about the situation when one conversation can clear everything up. So yeah,
Right.
that's my take on it.
Right. The next one is Semsis said, "Was there a time where the guild was Eve's priority over Lang? I say that because she notified the guild when she busted him using the bench."
Um, I mean, Eve was just fence sitting. She would, uh, she would, she would do that for both of them, right? It was, it was bench, it was bench related things. The bench wasn't Eve's. The bench was the guild's. So she would always do that. So it was, and at that point, yeah, Eve was just fence sitting, right?
Right. Couple more. Skeleton asked if Lorenzo comes to Eve to still start his own security company, would she help him compete with Vito's company?
If he asked to make it a Cerberus company, yeah, 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 probably. Yeah, you know, CBPD round two. Sure, let's go. Sure, let's go. I'll do it.
That'd be good.
Yeah, let's
Um,
go.
the next one, Evil Monkey said, when the Lucy Eve wedding happens, would Eve have a problem with Vito bringing Juno to it?
I don't think Juno would go. I don't think Juno would go. And I don't think Juno would go anyway.
Interesting. The only way asked, "Who is Eve's Harry? Would she even want one?"
I've always said that Carlo is the Italian Harry, so I feel like in a sense maybe you know Carlo is Eve's Harry in some way. Yeah. But
uh,
I've not seen Carlo be as crazy as I would not. I don't think I'd ever see a scenario where Carlo just pulls out a gun and shoots shoots somebody like Juno in the head. Have you ever done something crazy
yeah.
like that?
Um. Oh well, I did shoot the other day for Pigeon. I shot Barbara and um headphones in the middle of the Dodo building or like the RHL building. Because they had Pigeon. This was like a week ago. They had Pigeon locked up in like a cage in there, and
Jesus.
he called me and he was like, "Carlo, come here." Like, Barbara has me locked in a cage, and I showed up with I forgot who. Someone came with me. I don't know who. I think it was Sammy, and there was no one there, and Pigeon was just locked in the cage, like screaming in the back of the RHL building. And in through the front doors walks in headphones and Barbara. And I was like, I told them to stop getting closer, and I was like, Pigeon, what they do to you? And then I just shot them both in the head and just left and
Jesus
got Pigeon out of there.
Christ. I
But other than that, I mean, yeah, I don't really shoot on impulse much. Like, just pull my gun and like shoot someone, unless it was like, if I was told to by like Luciano or someone.
I feel like you know what? I feel like Alexandra is a good Harry comparison now that I think about it. I definitely think like Alexandra has Harry qualities. Yeah.
Yeah, Harry is. I I don't know if you ever heard about that one time we like went out um hunting for Mandem, and it was like me, Luciano, Harry was driving. I was in the front seat, and then I think we had like Doll and Tiny, and we saw a car, and Harry's like, "That's a Bruv car. That's a Bruv car." So he starts
Yeah.
chasing the car, and we like all met. Okay, so he's yelling at me to like shoot, and we didn't even know who was in it. And I shot out the tire. The guy hits a wall, and we all get out and just mag dump this guy, like the whole
Jesus
car. And we
Christ.
pull the guy out of the car, and he's wearing a BBMC jacket. I'm like, oh my god, it was so funny. I was cracking up because we're like, there's no way this just happened. So then Harry went and got like an RC car and like gave it to Barry, and then like payment to
Oh
like an I'm
no.
sorry kind of thing.
Oh
It was so
no.
after we pulled him out of the car, we're like, we were all just standing there like, wait, this is not this is not a Mandem guy at all.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
that was so funny.
Didn't Barry as well, like, afterwards said, yeah, it kind of does look a Brovka, and then, like, went to, like, change it and stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
That's funny.
Yeah, but Harry was like screaming at us, like, "Shoot! What are you guys doing? Like, it's a bruv car." All right. MLC asks, "What's the most regretful decision Eve has made, and what's the most what is she most thankful for?"
Mm, like I said, I don't think Eve has regretful moments, because if we did have regretful moments in RP and things like that, the story wouldn't be where it is today. And I think the most thankful is just I think just, you know, where we are today. I think every person we've met, every decision we've made just amplifies everything that we've worked towards. Very thankful for the opportunity of growing weed at the ranch, and it's made for good RP. I think you should always say yes to every RP opportunity, except when you're tired. And if you don't say yes, you don't know where the RP will go. I think just never say no, and try to include as many people as you can. Because God, I've literally found gems on the server, and then you're like, why haven't I found you earlier? Because some people some people are just gonna give you such good role play. So yeah, just say yes at the end of the day.
Yep. And then the last one out of the Discord says this, also from MLC, says, "Is post-retirement Lang still Eve's number one?"
Yeah, for now, he hasn't given us a reason to or not. I mean, Eve still has her doubts about like why she's running Cerberus alone and everything, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We don't really know if what really is going through Lang's mind sometimes, but Eve's loyalty won't waver unless he gives us a reason for it, right? So, uh, yeah, we'll just keep it as that. And like I said, I don't think it can change, just because of the fact that, you know, having Luciano as number one won't make sense in the long run.
Right. All right. Well, that's it for all the Discord questions.
Nice. Thank you guys for putting in submissions. Appreciate them. If you guys have extra questions, you are welcome to put them in chat right now. We'll do like up until the hour, I think 15 or 20 minutes. You're good with that, Versa?
Yeah, that's good.
Was Eve the one that texted Nick Simone from a burner phone regarding Cleo during the whole Lang Cleo Simone situation? Yes, she was. Yeah, she was. I hated Cleo. I mean, it didn't go anywhere. That didn't go anywhere.
Was it how the fuck do you cry on command?
I don't know, actually. You just cry. You just
Just do it.
yeah,
Just do it.
you just do it. You just get into the you just get into the moment and you just cry. Yeah. You just cry. Was Eve the one giving H to Jaeger? When? During the war? No. Eve only gave Jaeger H once and he paid for it. That was like a long time ago, but no, during the war? Was this when everybody thought Eve was giving H to Jaeger? Because that's not. I wasn't giving. I didn't have access to H. Do you ever think there'll be an arc with Lucy, Eve, and Nick? Huh? No? That's crazy. No? Would you have actually perma'd when Harry told how to look at the flowers? If Lang shot her. I don't think if Harry shot her, no, but if Lang shot her, yeah. Yeah, probably. Maybe. Potentially. I don't know. But it never happens, so it's like pointless, right?
Yeah, permaing is hard sometimes. It's like you said, it's like if the moment's right, like I would so do it, but it's like it's also such a like it sucks.
Yeah.
Like I give such props to people who perma.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
a very hard decision.
yeah, it is a little. I've seen it's a little more rare, at least coming over to NoPixel. But then on Red Dead, like Red Dead, it was very common, and it was I always like gave props to those people because I'm like, and sometimes like people permit like some big characters. I'm like, that's like, it takes a lot as like a role player to like perma a character that has like a lot of influence or has like a lot of progress made, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I kind of permaing like close to like the server end now. I feel like it's kind of pointless. And
Mm-hmm.
when Bass permad, I thought it was a joke. I was like, that's no way. And yeah, that's why I'm like kind of scared for the Italians, like you guys coming over. I'm like kind of scared. I'm like, you guys just gonna like I'm just scared for like every moment because I know you guys are serious. I like know that at any second this could be a perma because you guys are so conditioned to it. Um, I'm like scared of it sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like actually scared. Buddha gets asked and he says, why would I end my streaming career? That's also something you have to think about, right? Like, unless you have a character that's like lined up and ready for you to fall back on, that's a really good, that's like a really good point because it does influence, it does influence, you know, your livelihood.
Oh yeah. Because like I mean, for some people, like their characters, like their brand almost, you know,
Yeah,
like they built so
100%.
much around it.
Yeah.
So
That's why Bass, I felt like Bass was a joke. Like Bass came over from
right,
2.0. I don't know if he was 1.0, but definitely 2.0.
right.
Sorry if this was already asked, but regarding the night Jaeger shot Lexi, I've always been curious to know what your reaction was. Not Eve, but yours. Like, did you realize what a powder keg moment that was? Um, I was actually shocked. Like, I wasn't streaming. A lot of people were like over analyzing my reaction as Eve. I wasn't streaming. I was in shock. Like I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how to react. It's like one of those moments when something like that happens and you don't really know what the right reaction is, right? Because again, that was one of the first moments as well. Again, I was put in the middle of a lot of stuff. And you just you don't know what the right reaction should be. Like you react one way, it's not right. You react the other way, it's not right. So it's a lot of things are just like you really don't know what the right reaction should have been. I'm glad Lexi was an ocean dumped and Jaeger made the right choice, but yeah, it was a crazy day. It was really a crazy day. I think that's also when Lexi and Eve's relationship actually changed a lot, was that day, now that I think back on it. Um yeah. Did you watch a lot of like NoPixel? Like between like your wild RP days and coming back to NoPixel?
Um, so I mean, yeah, originally, like before I joined NoPixel, I didn't really watch too much. The only person I would kind of watch from time to time was Ziggy, and and that was like back in 2.0, and then I ended up joining like basically like the same day that 3.0 dropped is when I like, got in, and then I was here for a bit, and then yeah, when I went to Wild, I like completely fell out of the loop. Like I didn't watch any of it all. Like so when I came back and like so much was changed, I was like, oh, this is so different now. Like things are so different. Like I didn't keep up with like it at all when I was on Wild. Um, but yeah, and like going to Wild too, I had no idea what to expect because I didn't watch like any on Wild. I didn't even know that like Buddha and Anthony and them or Buddha and Anthony like went over to Wild.
Yeah.
Um, so like when I went over to Wild, like how I met like DC and all them was like completely organic. Like I was at a telegram station and I just met this girl uh who just basically like kind of took me under her wing and just introduced me to the whole family, and then from there, I mean, it's just history. Like
Mm.
end up slowly getting into the family, and I mean, it's been great. They like I could say like personally like just being around all of them like Z Croc and everybody like it has made my RP so much better over the last like year or so, or how yeah, it's been over a year now that I've been part of them, and it's like just being around them all the time, like even every day, even now, like I see like the way that like they do RP or like they'll do a certain scene. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do that next time. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
always learning from them and the people around me, especially like all the people in Little Italy.
Yeah. I think there's definitely always something to learn from everybody you RP with like every single day. I think that's amazing. I always hear about like the moments you guys have had on Wild, and I'm actually sad that I didn't tune into Buddha's like streams when he was like playing um on Wild, because I feel like I would have like found you guys earlier. I would have watched your guys' RP on Wild. Because
Yeah.
I never tuned in. I was just like, oh, he's playing Red Dead, and it's just like so slow burn. And I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it is. It is the pacing is like the biggest thing. That's like so different.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like joined in like right after they kind of went back to no pixel. It was like kind of right when I got onto Wild and was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Just because like my no pixel RP was kind of stagnant, and
Hmm.
I don't know. It's like hard sometimes when like it's really like clicky. Everyone's got like a group, and it's like hard to get things done or to like do
Yeah.
things, especially when like it switched over for jobs that you had to be like on the gang app and stuff.
Yeah, the VODs are, but I can always watch a VOD or two. But God, I feel like there's so much history down there. Like, it's crazy. But yeah. Um, wait, there was a question up here. Yeah, like speaking of permats, I feel like people people moved on way like so quick from Bass's RP. There's only like a few people who actually like still RP the consequences of his death, like a lot, like Tessa, Eve. Um, I don't think there's a lot of people who actually, just a handful of people who actually still RP, you know, that he's actually dead and it affects them. Like other people just don't, like it was wild when when Brian was like, yeah, the next day they were just back at you know, back at the next S plus boost, like nothing ever happened, and that hit me really hard. Just didn't care, and honestly, but the impact was the PD has not been the same, the city has not been the same. Everything went to shit, after the Sanguine War. Just everything went to shit after Bass died. So that was impactful, but it's it is pretty shitty, honestly. What will happen to Eve if Denzel dies? Okay, that's crazy. Denzel is still alive. It's fine. Don't need to worry about that. It's fine. Any advice on people trying to play on an RP sub? I feel like it's intimidating not knowing anyone like Vasa mentioned it can be clicky. That's true. Like I said, I mean, a fresh wipe is probably a good opportunity. So if you want to apply for, let's say NoPixel now, it's a good time to apply. Then you can potentially get to know like basics if you happen to get in now. And then when it wipes, it's a clean slate for everybody, right? Even if people do know each other. Um, and just I learned from just watching people as well. Just
Oh yeah.
watching RP. I think it's very important. Just to just not focus on chats and not focus on that, but just focus on what people do in certain scenarios, and especially if people talk about their thoughts. I think people's thought processes are very important to why they do what they do or say what they do. Um, I think that's very important. Um, and yeah, no, don't
Yeah.
focus on the W. If you role play through the bad, role play through the ugly, and just take your time. Um,
Yeah. I would also say like too that just like always being open to like new opportunities or like kind of how you mentioned like the yes RP earlier, like
mm-hmm,
the more you say yes to like all different kinds of RP, like the more people you'll meet and like the more just like good RP moments, that you'll be able to have, and you might unlock, opportunities or people that you might not have even met if you denied like a opportunity or whatever. And um yeah, just do things that like you don't always want to choose like the correct choice. Like there's so many times where I'm like, God, like Carlo's an idiot. I mean, I literally say it while I stream. Like I literally hate Carlo like so much. Like, and I say or do certain things, but like, I mean, that's what makes it good because like you gotta do what like your character would actually do in
uh-huh,
that moment, and not like what me like versus a streamer would do. Because I mean,
mm-hmm.
like 90% of things Carlo does not do.
Yeah,
But
I love people like that. I love like for example, you're like I hate that Carla has to do this, or like Peppo is a good example too. God, he makes such a ruckus, and he's
mhm,
like, it's crazy like the way he RPs, and
yeah,
it's like he knows exactly what he's doing, but it's like, I have to do this, and it's like it's crazy. Like I love people like that because they're like, I hate these decisions, but it makes sense for my character. Like that is something I appreciate so much
yeah,
when I
yeah.
watch
Peppo's
people.
always been so good. He on Wild we it's so weird now because like on No Pixel we're kind of on I wouldn't say like good terms with Edgar,
Mm-hmm.
but like we have been kind of working with him and stuff. And then on Wild he was like DC's like number one of the number one like rivals slash enemies. So it's but yeah, he's always brought like such great role play. Even like when we were like warring with them back on like Wild stuff, he always like was so good with like the pacing and stuff like that.
Carlo rizzing up
Spots.
Gia the other day was definitely you were falling with Gia.
Hold on, that's meta, guys. No.
Such a Carlo
Yeah,
thing. See, that's
yeah.
exactly such a Carlo thing.
Oh, cause like, and Luch was like, he told Luch, and like, Luch was like, "That's my cousin," and then Carlo's response was just like, "Well, it's her name's Gia, and she dresses different and has different hair color."
Do you know what Lottie said? Do you know what Lottie said? Gia walked away and Lottie was, oh great. Her other personality doesn't like me either.
So funny.
Poor Lottie, man.
Oh yeah, Lottie's great.
Um, and yeah, somebody asked, yeah, I'm not a stoner IRL. I don't even know weed strains IRL, guys.
Rizzing Breyer on the phone. Oh my god, I forgot about. That's the one who's marrying Edgar, right?
Yeah,
Breyer.
yeah,
Yeah, forgot about that. I called her off of Yellow Pages the other day, and
yeah, because
she started like flirting with her.
you should walk up to the wedding and object.
Jack.
Yeah. Do you know about
I was kind of breaking through. I was like, it's kind of like you got to have backup options. You know what I mean? In case it doesn't work out.
do you know about Gavin Summers and Cesaro? No, I've heard about Gavin Summers, but and everybody's like, oh
Yeah.
my god, Eve Summers is the descendant and stuff like that, which is pretty funny. But I actually don't know like the history there. I actually don't know anything about it. I just know people always say that, but I have no idea at all.
Yeah, Gavin Summers. It was like this like joking kind of meme that Z and or that like Z and I can't think of who played Gavin Summers, but he was like a big like Western like gang leader on Wild. Kind of had like tense moments, kind of were like on bad, like not full bad terms, but like tense terms and then good terms. But it ended on like oh, Johnny Blams, yeah, and then it ended on like terms. But then there was this rolling meme that like they went with, they were like in love with each other and like they were the true end game. Like was this them two to end up together? And yeah, he actually ended up like permaing.
Oh god.
So when and he was like a massive, massive character. He had like a lot of influence in the on the server, and so yeah, it was like a huge sad moment for for Cesare when he ended up dying.
Damn, so it's actually funny that Luciana does end up with a Summers then. That's actually crazy. That's actually
Devin
crazy.
Gummers.
Is there anything you need to learn in LP that you use IRL? Um, no,
Be a
but
good question.
when I was doing the quick walk though for like a few months, I found myself quick walking to the kitchen. Um, yeah, that is something I did. Oh, and I hate um I drive on the other side of the road over here. That's very infuriating. Um, when I walk to the car, I try to get on the other side. Um, so
That's
that
actually
is,
so funny.
yeah,
That's so
I
funny.
hate it. And I have to mentally tell myself, you drive on the other side of the road, left hand side, left hand side, left hand side. That continuously happens. Um, yeah. And then I also have to tell myself to not blow through intersections. Um,
What's to do gritty around the house?
no, I don't. But yeah, no, I feel like you just pick up like mannerisms sometimes of what your character does. Um, so I don't think there's anything that I've actually learned. Um, like good qualities, just like mannerisms sometimes. All right. If there's we can do like one or two last questions and then we can wrap it up. I don't have any heroin, guys. What do you think Eve would do if Sab actually put a bullet in Lottie? Oh, it's hard because Sab is family, right? And Eve's code is family, so it would still be Sab over Lottie at the end of the day. So it would actually be very, very hard to do anything to Sab. Does your mom think you grow HRL? Yeah, my mom is actually very concerned that I have a heroin and weed empire in a game, that I might have an addiction IRL, and I'm totally serious. Um, she is actually concerned that just because I role play, um, having drug empires, that I might have an issue IRL. Which is very hard to explain that I don't. Um, yeah, especially when I have to like Google things as well, to learn about them. It's very, very difficult to tell her that it isn't that way. Yeah. Yeah. I think Harry is a very funny character. Harry and Speedy are very, very funny.
Yeah, Speedy when he gets like angry is so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. Sammy too. Sammy is also very funny. You're also very funny, Versa.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for asking your questions. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Versa, for hosting us today. Hope you had a good
Yeah, you're
time.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a good one to wrap it up. What would it take for Arya to be redeemed?
Oh, she'd have to kill all of Rust from the inside out. Yeah.
Shoot
I,
right in the head.
yeah, she'd have to kill all of Rust from the inside out and then bring us Julian's pinkies from both hands. And then eat them in front of us.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think that's good, yeah. Arya's not a saint. Carlo's a saint though.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys for being here today. We'll probably be live tomorrow, same time. Actually, I don't know what the server time is anymore, so I have to figure that out. Hacking daylight savings. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. This will probably be up on YouTube if you guys missed any questions. And yeah, appreciate you guys for stopping by, and I appreciate you, Versa. Go follow Versa as well, at Versa. And I'll see you
Thank you.
guys tomorrow for more spicy RP. And I can't wait for Versa to kill Vito. Real. Leaking the script.
Oh no.
Alright guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.